Hello and welcome inside Yost Ice Arena here on the south side of Ann Arbor, the University of Michigan campus for WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan men's hockey. I'm Jeremy Parks alongside Charlie Goodwin with the first of two in some Big Ten action here at the barn this weekend between the number 15 Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Michigan has dropped a few games in their last spread, the last win coming against the Penn State Nittany Lions back on November 16th, so they are itching for a win tonight after a pair of ties last weekend in overtime against Wisconsin and a loss in the closeout of that series against Penn State back on November 17th. Charlie, what are you looking for in this game out of the Wolverines, a team that has struggled with consistency so far this season, but again on the same side of the puck as has Minnesota?
Yeah, this is a humongous game for the Michigan Wolverines. As you said, their last win coming in Happy Valley about 2 weeks ago now in Penn State, and they haven't really been able to get on track since then, lasting a while in games against Wisconsin and Michigan State, but ultimately losing in overtime and not being able to grab those extra points. So I'm looking for them to come out fast today. They really haven't proved themselves yet this season. Came in with a really high ranking with a Frozen Four trip last year, and they really have not lived up to their potential thus far.
We want to welcome those of you listening in on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor and the Michigan Student Hockey Radio Network. Again, number 15 Michigan and the Minnesota Golden Gophers in the first of two tie-ups here this weekend at Yost, another home series for Michigan. And Charlie, this is going to be a series that will revolve a lot around speed. Both these teams have a lot of high-caliber athletes, really fast skaters on the ice. Who do you think that plays in favor of here on the weekend?
I think the speed aspect definitely plays in favor of Michigan. They are a very fast team. You watch Michigan hockey and you see defenses have a lot of trouble getting back against their rush, against their odd man rush, as they're a very quick team. I really think they should be able to snag these 3 points tonight here at Yost, as they need them very, very badly.
And as well, Michigan going to have to watch one of their stars tonight, Quinn Hughes, a top NHL prospect, Michigan's best defenseman by many accounts. Again, a skater that likes to get up ice and play as an offensive defenseman. And against a speedy team like Minnesota, you're going to have to be careful.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes is a huge threat to Minnesota. One of, if not Michigan's most talented player. Went 7th in the NHL draft this past year, which is enough for someone to go straight there. But he decided to come back for another year at Michigan, possibly his last. Minnesota and the Gophers are definitely going to have to watch out for him on the ice tonight, because he is a lethal threat, not only on the defensive side, but also the offensive side.
And Michigan, a team that scores a lot, but also gives up a lot of goals. They're putting up right now 3.4 goals a game. However, they're giving up 3.5 goals a game, which ties pretty closely with their 500 record at 6-6-3. They're 2-3, 3-1 in the Big Ten. So we're going to have to see how the Wolverines come out here tonight. There have been a lot of shootouts so far this year. 6 players for the Maize and Blue in double digits in the points column. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, a team that scores a lot less, just 1 player in double digits, and that's Rem Pitlick on that front line center for the Golden Gophers. So, Charlie, how do you think this Michigan defense is going to stand tonight against a Minnesota team that's not scoring as much as Michigan, but can still put up some consistent offensive numbers?
Well, first I want to go back to the point you said about Michigan giving up a lot of goals. Mel Pearson has chosen to go with freshman goalie Strauss Mann tonight out of Greenwich, Connecticut, over his trusted starter, Hayden Levine. Strauss Mann is actually having a better season than Hayden Levine, who's been a standout for the Wolverines the past couple of seasons. Mann posting a record of 4-2-1, while Levine's posted a record of 2-3-2. It's been interesting to see the freshman kind of prove himself as the season goes on. Obviously, he needs to get better, as the Wolverines are still giving up a lot of goals and losing games, but that doesn't fall solely on the goalie's responsibility.
And that's really been a fall from grace for Hayden Levine, who was the best goalie on the team last year by a good margin, but then so far this year has really struggled to keep consistent, and as you mentioned, is losing out to a young freshman in Strauss Mann. Have you seen anything in the games that you've watched so far this year from Levine that might indicate why he's having so many problems?
Like you said, just I think inconsistent play from Hayden Levine. When I compare the two goalies and look at their statistics as well as their gameplay, you see that Strauss Mann has been a much more consistent option to turn to a goalie And while this has been, in fact, a fall from grace for Hayden Levine, it's a very good sign for Wolverine fans that they have a few good years to come in Strauss-Mann as he matures.
And we will get the official lines for you again, complete as we get closer to face-off. We're just about 13 minutes away from puck drop here at Yost. Again, you're listening to Michigan Men's Hockey on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor on an extended Friday night edition of WCBN Sports. We want to give a big thanks to Dean in studio with us tonight, as well as Evan Osterley, making sure that we can pump that sound out through those 88.3 airwaves, as well as on youtube.com/WCBN Sports. So a big shout to those guys, as well as the rest of the crew that showed up for the first about, I don't know, a little over half, a little quarter maybe, of the DSR time slot tonight. So big thanks to those guys as well for stepping in with an 8 o'clock face-off, a face-off that I personally don't like as much. We're going to finish here probably tonight around 11 o'clock. The game coverage on 88.3 will cap at 9, but we will continue the coverage on YouTube as the game progresses. So be sure to stick with us on both accounts if you're tuning in on your car right now or on your home radio. Be sure to get that YouTube as well. And as always, feel free to interact with us on Twitter and on youtube.com/WCBN Sports. The video on YouTube right now does have a live chat feature. Feel free to chat in. Let us know where you're listening from if you have any questions for us. And same with Twitter as well. It's just at WCBN Sports on Twitter. And those are also great avenues to get all of your WCBN Sports coverage across the year. We were live with the Daily Sports Report from Chrysler last night with some Michigan women's basketball and a beatdown against LIU Brooklyn. We're live here on the other south side of campus at Yost tonight, so really trotting around campus, Charlie. Getting global.
WCBN. We make our way around the entire University of Michigan campus, calling almost every sport we can because that's what the people want.
And abroad. Yeah. Got out to New Jersey not too long ago. A nice scenic trip out to Rutgers for football. Update on the football front, by the way. We are not planning to broadcast the Peach Bowl at this point. Like most Michigan football fans, we are equally disillusioned with the bowl situation. A $600 flight to Atlanta that weekend is not really seeming like. So, W sound if you choose to donate in the
world today. A $600 flight to Atlanta to watch us play Florida, spending $34 at Pizza House. Some people are just fiscally irresponsible.
That's exactly right, Charlie. A nice shout out there to a fellow WCBN member, Nick Hornberg, and his Pizza House habits. But it's not Pizza House, it's Cottage Inn that sponsors the Michigan hockey team here. So we will see the Cottage Inn slice on the scoreboard right across from us now. But the Children of Yost filing in nicely here. Should be close to a full house once we get underway. The grandstand to our left, just about 3/4 full right now, and the smaller grandstand over to the right-hand side about half full. Those should pack in. The Minnesota series, always a good one. Last year when Minnesota played Michigan, it was a really, really weird series. Minnesota blowing a 3-goal lead in the first game and I believe a 4-goal lead in the second game. Correct me if I'm wrong, last year. And then Michigan rifling back to beat Minnesota 5-4 and then tie 4-4 respectively in those games. So again, if Michigan gets down early tonight, don't turn off the radio, because if last year is any indication, the Wolverines played well on the back end of the game against the Golden Gophers. As "Oh Canada" will sound through the rafters here from the Children of Yost. A half Canadian and a honorary Canadian up here in the booth.
Yeah, "Oh Canada." It's one of the better national anthems in my opinion. Great tune. Really gets the people going. But yes, as you said, Michigan-Minnesota is one of the greatest rivalries in college hockey. It's the 278th meeting between these teams, and Minnesota actually holds the advantage with a record of 136, 125, and 16. Now, as you said, these games always get a little nasty, and they always go right down to the last second. So, for real, do not tune out if Michigan goes down early, because you never know. But the Wolverines are 67, 50, and 8 at home against the Gophers, so that's something good to look for.
And one key for whoever plays Michigan, and it should go without saying, but especially against a high-powered offense like the Wolverines have, Minnesota is going to have to stay out of the penalty box tonight. So far on the season, Michigan converting at a 22% clip on the man advantage. Meanwhile, their opponents held under 20%. So getting in the box, not going to fare well for any team that plays Michigan, while the Wolverines have handled themselves a little bit better on the disadvantage. So we'll have to see how that one plays out across the course of the game as well. Just about 8 minutes away from face-off here at Yost. The referees are down on the ice now, making the rounds. They'll get the net check going here. Should see both the Maize and Blue and the Golden Gophers coming out of the locker room here momentarily. We'll do lineup announcements. We'll grab the Michigan lineup right now, actually, as that one should be live here coming across the screen. As you said already, Strauss-Mann is going to start in net tonight for the Wolverines. That top line is going to be, as usual, Slaker, Norris, and Lockwood. Postyoff, Morgan, and Lambert going to play on the second line, so the Postyoffs playing apart from each other tonight. Third line is going to be Brendan Warren, Nick Postyoff, and Jake Becker. And then the fourth line, Jack Randall, Garrett Van Wy, and Dakota Raby. The defensemen for the Wolverines, Quinn Hughes and Joe Ciccone anchoring the top line, Griffin Luce and Luke Martin playing the back line, and the third line, Nick Blankenberg and Nick Boca. Jack Summers will see some time in there as well, mixing around those lines. And Strauss-Mann in net for the Maize and Blue. Anything striking you off that line chart for tonight?
No, nothing particular. Besides the Strauss-Mann decision, that's looked like something. That would come as a surprise at the beginning of the season, but it's looked like something Mel Pearson's leaning towards as the season goes on. And of course you have the top line of Slaker, Norris, and Lockwood, or as they like to call it, their SNL line. They've accounted for 42% of the Wolverines' goals this year, which shows just how much impact they have when they're on the ice. Something that actually does strike me a little bit is that Mel Pearson has separated the Pastrov brothers tonight. When they play, it just seems like beautiful things happen on the ice, and I'm not really sure why they've been separated tonight, but I guess that's what Pearson finds best. And then, of course, on the blue line, you got Hughes and Ciccone, by far the Wolverines' best defenders. Hughes, drafted highly in the NHL draft, as we just said, a great talent on the ice, and Ciccone, a senior, finishing off a great career at the University of Michigan.
Yeah, the SNL line accounting for 3 of the top 4 points men on the Michigan roster. Quinn Hughes, the only one not on that line. He is second in total points at 15. Norris has 16. Slaker has 13. Lockwood with 12. He's also tied with Joe Ciccone, technically at 12 there. Your Minnesota line tonight, starting on the top line for the Gophers, the captain, Brent Gates Jr., along with Rem Pitlick, the center, and Tyler Sheehy. Pitlick and Sheehy are the top point scorers for the Gophers coming into this game. On the second line, starting at left wing, Sampo Ranta, the only foreigner on this Minnesota team out of Naantali, Finland. Tommy Novak, the center, and Brandon McManus bringing that second line up. Third line is Nathan Burke, Sammy Walker, and Blake McLaughlin. Fourth line is Garrett Wade, Scott Reedy, and Jack Ramsey, the assistant captain. On defense, it'll be Ryan Zulsdorf along with Jack Sadek, Ben Brinkman, I should say, and Tyler Nani bringing up the second defensive line, and then Sam Rossini and Clayton Phillips on the back end. And it should be Matt Robson in goal. We haven't got the official word on the goal situation for Minnesota tonight. They do not indicate the starter on the line chart, so we'll keep you updated when we break the bread here in just a moment, as the flag of Fielding Yost is broken out in the Children of Yost section along with the Red Berenson flag. The newspapers are out for the children as Minnesota does their line announcements over the stadium PA.
Yeah, the Children of Yost always bring a great atmosphere to Yost Ice Arena. Always super into the game. Really wouldn't be the same without their cheers and their craziness throughout the games.
Hopefully the children can give a nice atmosphere tonight for this Wolverines team. Again, trying to bust 500 here. 6-6-3 overall on the season. They are ahead of Minnesota 4-6-3 with one more game played in the Big, or should I say 2 more games in Big Ten play in hand for Minnesota over Michigan. Michigan 2-3-3-1 in the Big Ten. Minnesota 2-2-2-0. As the lights are dimming, Michigan will get their lineup going here. We'll do the anthem, and then we'll face off in just about 3.5 minutes. Again, you're listening to Michigan Men's Hockey here on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, the Michigan Student Hockey Radio Network. Jeremy Parks alongside Charlie Goodwin. High above the ice here at Yost facing down to the M. In the first frame, Michigan will move left to right from our point of view. Minnesota will move right to left.
Yeah, something to also look for tonight, if Matt Robson starts for the Gophers, will be that goalie matchup between Robson and Mann. Although Mann just a freshman and Robson a junior, they're posting pretty similar seasons thus far, and it would be nice to see them battle it out tonight on the ice.
There is one Red Wings jersey in the whole of the Children of Yost. A gutsy move. I can't quite tell whose jersey that is. I think it might be a Lidstrom. Can't see the numbers on the sides.
Yeah, you can see the C patch on the upper chest, but you can't quite see the numbers. So.
As we are ready for the national anthem here, we're going to turn ourselves down. We're going to turn the anthem up, and you can get a taste here at Yost Ice Arena. Jeremy Parks and Charlie Goodwin will be back in just a moment. Here's the national anthem tonight, performed by the United States Armed Forces.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streamed. And rockets red, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night, never fled was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, an excellent rendition of the national anthem here tonight by a group of the United States Armed Forces. It is Military Appreciation Night here at Yost, Charlie, so we'll be sure to see more tributes and shout-outs to our men and women in uniform across the span of the game. WCBN Sports as well would like to give the best wishes to all our men and women serving overseas, at home, wherever they may be, and all of our veterans as well. If anyone tuning in for the game tonight, give us a shout-out. We'll give you a shout-out on air as well. But we are just about 30 seconds away from face-off here as they're going to take the carpet up off the ice. We'll get the benchmen to the bench. We'll get the real men out to the ice, and we'll get ready to go here in just a few. Crowd still filing in here on a bitterly cold night in Ann Arbor. It's warmer in the barn for once. As the band ready to go. Referees with their last conference here on the dot. And a little Thunderstruck to get us moving here, Charlie.
AC/DC is always a great pre-game playlist to go with. They have classics, Thunderstruck, Back in Black.
Makes you want to run through a brick wall.
It really does. As you can hear the crowd roar to Thunderstruck.
All right, fresh 20 is on the clock. Puck's going to make its way out to the center circle. Again, number 15 Michigan and the Minnesota Golden Gophers unranked here in the first of two this weekend in some big Big Ten action. Michigan trying to put a little ground between themselves and what would presumably be the bottom half of the table in the Big Ten.
Yeah, grabbing these 3 points tonight is a must for the Wolverines. As we've said before, they've really had a disappointing start to the season. Grabbed that Frozen Four trip last year and just haven't started the way people expected them to. So it would be nice for them to break into that top half of the poll.
And it is Matt Robson in goal. He'll be making his 10th start of the season. He's got a .923 save percentage as the puck drops and we are underway here from Yost. Face-off is won by Minnesota as they'll work their way across the blue line. A little scrum battled around for in the neutral zone as Michigan regains possession and falls back to set up their first attack of the game. Sheehy on the forecheck prevents Michigan from getting across their own blue line. As falling back behind the net is Josh Norris, and he'll bring all 5 troops back to the defensive zone, and then they'll push forward. A nice move up the left wing by Norris as he throws one on net, and an easy opening save for Matt Robson as that'll stop the clock at 19:28 remaining in the first period. Wolverines take the first shot on net of the night.
Yeah, not much action there from the puck drop to Robson's first save. Minnesota didn't get a shot on net, which is always good. You don't want to let up those shots early in the game, and the Wolverines now have a face-off in their offensive zone.
Pastujov is sent out of the circle, jumped a little early there, so Warren will take his spot. Going up against Tommy Novak. Wolverines win the face-off. They kick it back to the blue line. Boca takes a little dump in, and it misses everybody wide to the right. Minnesota fighting for possession with Warren. They win out and get it back to the neutral zone. Novak regains possession for the Golden Gophers, and they'll make a push up the right wing as they play it to the backboards. Blackenberg fighting back on the end board for that one. In the near side boards here to us on the left is Pastujov in it with Sampo Ranta, as Nick Boca eventually winds up with the puck for the Maize and Blue. Couple of lazy battles going around here, and there might be an opportunity for Jake Becker off of a turnover here at center ice as he tries to find Nick Pastujov, can't find him up the right-hand side. Minnesota hustles possession back away from him. Played cross to the sideboards by Burke for Minnesota, and we'll see the first action from Strauss-Mann as he comes out of the net to clear it away. Makes it to the neutral zone where the puck goes up and out of play. We have our second whistle of the game at 18:31 here in the first period. No score. You're listening to Michigan Men's Hockey on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
Yeah, risky play by Strauss-Mann on that last possession. Came out of the crease by a lot to go get that puck. Lucky didn't make a mistake, and that would have been a go for goal.
And the faceoff is going to be held there, and there will be a send out as Sammy Walker for the Gophers is sent out, going up against Luke Morgan. McLaughlin comes in for Minnesota as Michigan finally wins the puck away, but it squirts behind. Nobody gains possession as a couple of sticks knock it back into the Minnesota defensive zone. Michigan giving a little forechecking pressure. No real sustained possession yet here. The Wolverines had one sustained possession right at the opening seconds of the game, but since then it's been pretty back and forth cross-ice hockey as possession is played for back deep in the Minnesota defensive zone. Puck rattles around and it'll make its way all the way back to the end boards. No icing. It's gathered in by Strauss-Mann, who plays it up the right wing. Michigan will dump and change. Coming up ice are the Golden Gophers. They push up center, then go right with a little saucer pass there. Quinn Hughes regains possession for Michigan back behind the net. He plays it up to Dakota Raby on the right boards, who dumps it in back behind the Minnesota net. Open opportunity in front for Michigan off of a misplay, and waiting right in the wings there for the loose puck was Michigan, and it was Dakota Raby who had a chance off of a poor play in the boards, maybe an odd bounce, couldn't quite tell which, but a nice save as Raby shot it right into the chest of Matt Robson.
Yeah, that was a fantastic opportunity for the Wolverines. Rabe couldn't quite get a strong shot on it, but also great job by Robson, just standing his ground, not getting frantic when the puck came in front of him.
Josh Norris is going to face off against the captain Tyler Sheehy. They are in the left circle to the right side of Robson as Minnesota wins possession, but it squirts out into the crease. Will Lockwood unable to get a play to it as he'll go all the way around the world back to the blue line. Ciccone has it on the right side. A dump-in pass played by Michigan and a save. Lockwood made the dump-in, was trying to connect with the stick of it looked to be Jake Slaker, I believe.
Yes, Slaker was stationed there in front of the net, trying to redirect that puck in. Just couldn't get a stick on it. Right into the chest of Robson because it was an easy shot without the deflection, and it's going to be another face-off.
4 shots on goal so far for Michigan, none for Minnesota. It'll be a face-off in the right circle this time for the Wolverines, who again win the face-off. Ciccone gets it at the blue line. He gives to Lockwood. Lockwood looked to the right-hand side of the goal, couldn't find a stick. Now it's back with Slaker. Josh Norris. Slaker back again, working around the blue line. Ciccone looking for the cross-ice pass, got caught up in a couple of sticks. Minnesota has a break opportunity. Zielinski going for it, takes a shot, tried to beat Strauss-Mann far side. Good blocker save. Minnesota still has possession in the Michigan defensive zone. Pitlick working on the boards. He'll send it back all the way around for Sheehy. Sheehy dumps back to the blue line, trying to find a little touch pass inside of the crease. Couldn't find anybody. Michigan looking for a quick break pass up through the neutral zone, trying to find Quinn Hughes, but it bounces around. That'll prevent a change. Pastujov eventually winds up with it back in the neutral zone. Nick Pastujov, as it goes back to the end boards. Michigan fighting for it, but Minnesota wins in 2-on-1. Now Pitlick pushing up across center ice for Minnesota. Almost made a nice deke move on the left-hand side of Strauss-Mann, but good defense played by Blankenberg. Now Michigan playing up forward, and a shot played across the face of goal by Blankenberg. Nobody home. As Minnesota again quickly moving. We're playing all the length of the ice here early at Yost. Back in the Michigan defensive zone now. Minnesota chips it up high over the goal, bounces off the corner boards as there's a four-man scrum for it here on the near side. Nick Pastujov comes away with it. He took a stick. No penalty called there. Didn't get tripped up. Minnesota regains possession, and they go all the way around the backboards again. Trying to get it back to the blue line, but Michigan giving good pressure as they'll win possession away. Blankenberg gives it up to Warren on the far boards to the left side. Becker fighting for it in the neutral zone. Possession given away, but it'll give Michigan a chance to get some fresh legs. Minnesota makes two changes as well. Puck on an attempted dump-in pass goes off of a stick up into the netting behind the net, and we have another stoppage here at 15-19 in the first period. Shots are 5-2 in favor of Michigan. No score here at Yost. You're listening to Michigan men's hockey coverage on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. As we'll have a face-off at the center circle. Luke Morgan loses out on that one to Novak as Minnesota dumps it into the Michigan zone. Trying to set up any kind of sustained possession, Charlie, has just been difficult so far for either side.
Yeah, but despite that fact, this has just been really entertaining hockey. Back and forth, full length of the ice for the past couple minutes now. A lot of scoring opportunities, but no one's been able to connect. And I think this is just great hockey for the fans to see right now. Yeah, we're playing the full length horizontally and vertically. We're going to all corners, all sides, as Michigan tried to make a cross-ice pass up through the neutral zone and touched in, but they missed the stick, and it'll go all the way down to the backboards for an icing call here at 14:48 in the first period, and it'll come back to Michigan's end. I was thinking it's really interesting to see Strauss-Mann come out of his crease a lot and try to handle that puck on his own. Yeah, we mentioned it earlier. He made a nice butterfly play back in the opening minute and a half or so of the game. Takes a slightly farther stance outside on the faceoffs as well. Puck is sitting right in the neutral zone right now. Again, just a lot of that back and forth, lack of possession. Everybody's trying to find the right pass, and it looks to be a lot of good ideas, a lot of cross-ice movement, but nobody's able to find a stick. Right now, Minnesota's got it back at the Michigan blue line. Zielsdorf gets it in, was looking for a stick tip in front, couldn't find it. Puck rattles around and finally comes down to the stick of Griffin Luce. Luce plays it up the boards for Garrett Van Wy. Van Wy is in a tie-up. He loses it, gets it back again, and dumps in. Michigan will change. Mike Pastujov comes off the ice. Luce comes off the ice. Joe Ciccone now tracking a puck that was played in by Minnesota down deep into the Michigan zone, and Minnesota will change legs. As Quinn Hughes is going to try and push up a little bit here. He's got Slaker and Raby around the left-hand side. Raby loses out in possession in the corner. As Michigan dumps it around a few times again, they find Hughes crossing into the blue line. He's onside, tries to play a pass over to the crease, knocked away by Minnesota. A big hit. I think we may have a penalty coming. No, I did not see a hand. Michigan fans wanted it. Could have potentially been an interference call there, but no dice. Well, I think that Dakota Rabe initiated the contact on that one. So if any penalty, I think it would have been on him, and I think the Wolverines got away with one here. Yeah, they seem to think otherwise down in the Children of Yost. As Michigan is playing it up into the attacking zone, Lockwood takes a quick dump and scores. He went 5-hole. It looked like a lazy dump in towards the crease, but it got right through the legs of Robson, and Michigan opens the scoring here
With 13:05 remaining in the first period, it's Will Lockwood, that SNL line.
Yeah, there's the SNL line again, just creating goals for this Michigan Wolverines team. And it's interesting that of all the Wolverine shots they've taken thus far, that seemed like one of the weaker ones, and yet it's the one that found the net.
As I said, it really, if you watch the video, it's going to look like a pretty lazy attempt, but it got right through the legs, it looked like, there on Robson, and Michigan opens the scoring. 1-0 Wolverines here with 13 minutes to go in the first period. Will Lockwood with the goal. We'll get you the assists in just a moment. Michigan's right back on the attack out of the faceoff as Nick Boca is going to play a shot dumped in, and it's gathered this time by Robson. A little bit more attentive to his lower body as he gets those legs down to the ice and blocks that one with the pad, gets a glove to it, and we're stopped at 12:51 here in the first period. Michigan 7-2 in the shot tally, 1-0 on the board.
Yeah, this game has been fairly physical thus far, and I think with that Michigan goal, now you're going to see the Gophers try to get a little more rough and aggressive in order to try to regain the tie.
That'll be the 5th goal on the season for Will Lockwood. Assists to Josh Norris and Quinn Hughes. It's going to be the 9th assist of the season for Norris and the 13th of the season for Hughes. Doesn't shake up the top of the board, though, as Hughes will stay one behind Norris for the team points lead.
Well, with Hughes getting the assist there, that makes it his 17th assist of the season, which would put him at 2nd most in the country and the Big Ten.
13th assist, 16th point for Hughes. At least that's my stat sheet. I think we have different stat sheets here up in the booth.
Yeah, we do.
You might be right. I don't know. Mine's off the online Michigan site. Yours is the printed material here tonight, so why don't we go with yours then?
Quinn Hughes is 17th assist of the season, 2nd in the Big Ten.
Going to have a word with fellow WCBNer Daniel Thompson working on the statistician side here for the hockey team. Going to have to put in my 2 cents with him after this one's over. But meanwhile, we've got a face-off in the Minnesota defensive zone from the right circle. As we come out of the TV timeout, Big Ten Network is broadcasting this one tonight. Battling for possession in the neutral zone as Minnesota has it, trying to work up past the blue line. They've really struggled making it out of the neutral zone so far tonight. Michigan doing a good job on the back end so far, again limiting the Golden Gophers to just 2 shots, but they've got a little bit of an opportunity here as the puck squirts to the right-hand side and a shot taken by Ranta, and that one is gloved down by Strauss-Mann as Michigan will regain possession and push up ice with Nick Pastujov. Pastujov was looking for a stick there of Brendan Warren on the left-hand side, couldn't find him. Puck goes to the end boards, and Minnesota will come back on the counterattack. McLaughlin gives it to Ranta. Ranta takes a shot again. That one goes high and wide.
Yeah, we've only seen the Gophers really set up offensively once in this game. Haven't been able to get much going.
Really trying a little bit harder now that they're down 1-0 to get something sustained here, as we've got a player who goes flying into Strauss-Mann off of a puck that was completely out of the area. It looks like we're going to see McLaughlin head to the box, I think.
Yeah, that is a blatant penalty. The puck was out of the area of Strauss-Mann.
A good 6-7 feet away from the crease. We're actually going to see Michigan go to the box. I think they're going to say that Summers might have tripped McLaughlin into Strauss-Mann. I didn't quite catch it because it was off the play.
Well, there's no Gopher player in the box, but Summers is in fact sitting in the box. So
see what we get here on the TV replay. Yeah, we'll let you know if we get back to that one, but it is going to be Michigan going to the box. It's that he made McLaughlin head into Strauss-Mann at the goal, so Michigan's going to go on the man disadvantage here, and Minnesota will have a chance to even this one up as they have possession right now working around the blue line. Novak has it towards the circle. Griffin Luce gets it, knocks it away. That one's going to squirt all the way back to the end boards. Great play by Luce will give Michigan a chance to get some fresh skates. As Minnesota will regroup here with 1:30 left in the power play. Moving up the left-hand side is Pitlick. He tried to go around the boards for Novak. Michigan can't clear. It's knocked down at the blue line there by Minnesota. Tyler Sheehy working around those far side boards. Battle for it in the corner. Quinn Hughes trying to knock it away. Hughes does bounce it up off the glass and deep. And again, Michigan will get to change. Halfway through the kill here is Minnesota will have to set up again from deep in their own zone.
Yeah, Minnesota hasn't had a legitimate shot yet on this power play. You'd think that a man up, they'd be able to set something up, but the Wolverines have just been too strong on defense.
Nice touch passing there by the Gophers, but it gets caught up in a couple of skates, and their attack again is stalled as Blankenberg will clear it back to the Minnesota defensive zone. They didn't even break Michigan's blue line that time. 36 seconds remaining on the kill, 10:18 remaining in the period. As Minnesota will dump in deep, Sampo Ranta plays it back from the corner to the blue line. McLaughlin now has it dumped in deep. He was looking for a play in front, couldn't get it. Saved back at the blue line there by Minnesota as Walker has it on the left-hand circle for the Gophers. He plays it back to the blue line. Has it with Tyler Nanny. Nanny takes a shot, ripped, knocked down by Randall. Good block by Randall to sacrifice the body. 7 seconds to go on the kill, and that should about do it as the Gophers are just going to retreat with Sampo Ranta, and they'll reset. Michigan will get Summers out of the box, and he'll immediately skate over to make the change. Minnesota will make the change as well, back to their full strength lineage.
And that was a disappointing power play for the Gophers, to say the least. Got a great opportunity to even up this game, and they just couldn't get anything going.
Great job by Michigan on the kill, but Minnesota here is challenging on the offensive side of the puck. They looked for a nice pass in the crease, couldn't find anything. Now Ramsey moving through the slot for Minnesota. That one bounced up off the pads of Strauss-Mann. Came down, luckily, harmlessly for the Wolverines. As now they move up ice with Becker. Up the right-hand boards. Puck is back in the corner. Nick Pashtiov coming around the edge, takes an odd angle rip shot that bounces up off the goalie there. As Michigan will keep possession in the Minnesota defensive zone. Gophers finally win away possession there with Reedy. But it's broken up in the neutral zone as Minnesota will be forced to retreat and reset. A couple of changes there for both sides. As Griffin Luce will track a squirting puck back behind Strauss-Mann, and Michigan will reset from deep in their own zone. 8:22 remaining here in the first period. It's 1-0 Michigan over Minnesota here on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor and the Michigan Student Hockey Radio Network.
It's interesting, besides the power play that the Gophers are on, they really have not even been physically in Michigan's offensive zone. Forget even set up, they haven't really been in there at all.
And again, lazy passing by the Gophers, who won possession back from Michigan, but then couldn't complete the pass to get it out of their zone, and Michigan did a good job to hustle, get possession, and stay onside. As Minnesota now takes a shot up, they take a rip shot from the right-hand side. That one was off the stick of Sheehy. Good pad save there by Strauss-Mann.
And now the Gophers are starting to up the intensity a little bit as they finally get a good shot on goal.
As the puck squirts all the way back to Minnesota's far boards, but it looks like we're going to have another penalty potentially. Not quite sure. It looked like the hand did go up from the referee. Haven't seen anybody head towards the box yet. Doesn't look like it. We are going to have an ice cleaning, though. Play was stopped here at 7:37 remaining in the first period. Shots are now 7-5 in favor of Michigan. Minnesota has ratcheted it up a little bit. Score remains 1-0 in favor of the Maize and Blue. They actually call off the ice cleaning crew here, so it'll be a shorter break than expected.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either what that last stoppage of play was. A really strong reaction from the crowd, so it looked like it would have been a penalty, but no one from either team went to the box.
Didn't look like anybody lost track of the puck or anything like that back into the Minnesota end boards, but either way, it comes all the way back to Michigan's defensive zone here as Minnesota takes the shot from the point with Zulsdorf that just bounces to the right-hand side of the goal. And now a stoppage of play. At 7:28 here in the first period, 1-0 in favor of Michigan.
Yeah, that shot was absolutely ripped by Zulsdorf. Could have easily been put back in on the rebound, but luckily there were no Gophers in that area. That's something the Wolverines have to work on as this game goes on. There's been a fair amount of rebounds for the Gophers. They just haven't been in the right position to put them in the back of the net.
And we have a veteran honoree of the game, Alan Lee Walraven. Served in the U.S. Army in Vietnam in both the North and South. Part of an artillery battery. Currently living in Kalamazoo. Again, part of the Military Appreciation Night here at Yost. We're going to have more veteran appreciation moments, I think, than the normal one per game. As Mr. Walraven will wave to the crowd here. He's got a nice perch on those far side box seats.
And the Wolverines and Gophers knock their sticks for him in approval, as hockey players do on the ice. It's a great gesture to always honor the ones that served our country.
All right, puck has come back to, let's see, one of the left side dots here, closer to Michigan's blue line. So it is a neutral zone face-off with 7:28 remaining in the first period. It'll be Novak up against Josh Norris when we get underway here. As the puck does drop, Minnesota wins possession. Zulsdorf gets it for the Gophers as they play it in deep behind Strauss-Mann. Wrapping around the boards, Michigan picks it off, and they push up ice. Ciccone pushing the blue line, and I believe Michigan is offside there. Indeed, as that puck will come back here with 7:13 remaining in the first period.
The pace of this game has slowed down a lot with these frequent whistles in the past few minutes of play. It's not the same end ice to end ice action we were seeing at the beginning of the period.
Normally something that would favor any team that doesn't play Michigan, but with the speed of Minnesota, they kind of match that. However, the shots for Minnesota have gone up as play has slowed down. It's now 7-6 Wolverines. Was 7-2 at one point here in the first period, as Michigan wins the faceoff and they have possession in the Minnesota defensive zone. Good forechecking by the Wolverines, almost kept the puck in, but just missed out on that one, as Jake Slaker will regroup and circle back around, bring it back in play. On sides as the Michigan Wolverines enter here. And puck being played around, shot in front opportunity there for Slaker, couldn't quite get it to his man Josh Norris. Had him right in the slot, and that shot just went high. Ciccone now has it at the blue line. Cross ice pass for Josh Norris. He plays it up high, bounces off of man and out of play. Stoppage here at 6:25 in the first period. 1-0 Michigan. Again, that was a great opportunity, Charlie, right in front for Josh Norris. He just put it high.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal takeaway by Jake Slaker. Even better pass right in front of Josh Norris, but Norris couldn't puck.
Tried to go bar down, and you run the risk of missing the net entirely, and that's exactly what happened. However, Michigan wins the faceoff in the offensive zone as they play an odd angle pass in front, squirting around. That puck finally came out the backside. Came from far to short from our point of view as it squirts away, and Minnesota had a chance to get a man push up ice, but Michigan doing a good job of getting back defensively. Good back check as they will regain possession and push up ice with Lambert. First time we've called Lambert's name tonight for the Maize and Blue. As he plays it to the right-hand side boards in the offensive zone for Nick Boca. Boca loses out on a couple Golden Gophers sticks as they push again in the neutral zone. And again, about 2 or 3 changes of possession before Michigan finally comes away with it and plays it around the wraparound. And they will make a couple of changes there. Van Wy skating off the ice defensively. As Randall pushing forward for the Wolverines, trying to keep that puck in. Just does so as it gets to the backside of the goal there behind Robson. And Michigan still working for it back around the backside of the net.
Yeah, there's just no quit in these Michigan Wolverines. You always see them fighting for the puck until they absolutely cannot get it, and they're just knocking on the doorstep now. I think it's only a matter of time before we see 2-0 in favor of the Wolverines.
McLaughlin might have had a one-on-one chance, but he's pretty gassed, so he just plays it deep for Minnesota and skates over to the bench as Michigan dumps it in. Wolverines playing for it down on the right corner boards as a poke stick almost keeps it in onside, but Michigan will have to retreat here as it just squirts over the blue line. Shot opportunity for Minnesota in front, a couple of players bouncing back and forth. It looked like Ramsey had a shot at it. It also looked like Scott Reedy had a shot at it. And Strauss-Mann stands tall with about 2 or 3 shots right in front of his face. And he keeps this scoreless sheet intact for the Wolverines.
Yeah, that was a wonderful save by Strauss-Mann. Ramsey had a great opportunity, just couldn't quite get it. Probably would have scored, but luckily it stays a 1-0 game.
Couple awkward bounces, found that puck right in front, right in that bottom corner of the circle there, but again, a good job by the true freshman Strauss-Mann.
And now you see a little more urgency in the Minnesota Golden Gophers, as that's their first time they've got a great shot in the past couple minutes.
Trying to get this thing tied up before they head to the locker room. There's just under 4 minutes remaining here in the first period. As Michigan has possession right now in the neutral zone, it's tapped forward from Slaker to Lockwood as they cross the blue line. Lockwood goes all the way around, 360, kicks it back to the blue line to Blackenberg. Blackenberg throws it in, bounces off behind the backboards. Boca playing for it. Looking for a back pass there was Slaker, can't find it. As Minnesota moving forward with Pitlick. Pitlick tried to play it across the slot, knocked away by the stick of Blackenberg. Couple of bounce passes around the boards, and again, Michigan regains possession, and again, Michigan pushes forward. Across the blue line and in. Nice skating there by Slaker to beat out the icing call. As Michigan throws it in front, trying to find the redirect off Slaker's stick there from the dump by Griffin Luce. As it's cleared all the way down, no icing, Minnesota will get a change.
And even though we've said time and time again that the Gophers are a fast team, as are the Wolverines, it seems that the Wolverines are just beating the Gophers on the dump and chase into their own zone every single time.
2:48 remaining here in the first period. Minnesota pushing up now. Sampo Ranta gets it down in the corner. Trying to find Novak, but Dakota Raby's there to break it up. Now we've got a tie up on the boards. Griffin Luce is in there. Garrett Van Wy now jumps in on Novak. Sampo Ranta and Novak for the Golden Gophers. Luce and Van Wy for the Wolverines, still tied up right in that corner spot, right on the block M there. As Minnesota finally comes away with it, gets a shot back to the blue line. That one almost skated under the kick pad of Strauss-Mann, but able to push it away. A nice shot from the point there for Minnesota. That one came off the stick of, it looked like, Zulsdorf. As Michigan now working their way back across the neutral zone and into Minnesota's territory. Couple of greasy passes there that don't quite stay on the stick for Minnesota, but no harm done as they find Novak right at the blue line crossing into Michigan territory. There's nobody there, so he's going to loop back around, tries to get it back to the blue line. Saved there by Minnesota. Dump shot goes in, bounces up off of the stick of Brendan Warren and out of play. Stoppage at 1:42 remaining in the first period. Your score is 1-0 Michigan over Minnesota here on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor and the Michigan Student Hockey Radio Network. Jeremy Parks alongside Charlie Goodwin. A great period so far. Again, as we said, play slowed down maybe there around the 10-minute mark for just a little bit, but we're right back to that full stretched ice hockey.
Yeah, and I think anyone here at Yost Ice Arena or just on the radio listening to the game, you can see why Mel Pearson has leaned towards Strauss-Mann as of late. He's been super consistent, and he just looks really confident between the pipes.
And now a standing salute for all former servicemen and women here in the audience that don't have a specific shout out coming tonight, as the whole of Yost will cheer for all the veterans in the barn here. For number 15, Michigan over Minnesota on military, 1 of 2 on the weekend. It's the Golden Gophers. Minute 42 remaining in the first period. It'll be a face-off in the Michigan defensive zone. Looks like they are going to put Luke Morgan up against Sammy Walker here in the circle.
We'll see if the Gophers can grab a quick goal in the remaining time of the period before they head to the locker room for the first intermission.
Morgan is set off for jumping. However, Mike Pastjov comes in and wins the faceoff as Michigan pushes up ice. He's trying to find Morgan up the right-hand side. Can his speed win it out? He does get into the corner. Makes a little something happen with that speed as it's now a tie-up in the corner. Looks like Walker's in there for the Golden Gophers. Trying to help out there is Lambert for Michigan. Eventually Minnesota works that puck free, and they're now working back up ice, trying to use their speed now. Again, this is that full ice hockey we're talking about. Walker goes all the way back behind Strauss-Mann for Minnesota, trying to work a pass back around the boards. It's intercepted by Michigan. And a lazy pass by the Wolverines finds its way right in front of net, and it's stopped on the wraparound try for Minnesota. Strauss-Mann got the kick pad to it first, then got the glove down, and that was all born out of a poor pass, an intercepted pass. I believe it came off the stick of Lambert as he was trying to go right back behind. And no, it was actually Ciccone.
No, that was off the stick of Quinn Hughes, it looked like to me.
Could have come off Hughes.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Just besides the fact, if it is from Hughes, that's unacceptable from a player of Hughes' caliber. That was just an outright lazy pass.
Michigan wins the faceoff, however, and they're bursting up ice now with Lockwood from their own defensive zone back into Minnesota zone. A lazy pass goes right in front to the slot, finds the stick of Boku, takes a shot from the top of the circle, and that one's knocked away by Robson. 48 seconds to go here in the period. Now Minnesota trying to push up ice. They've got Sheehy. Sheehy looking to push back to the slot. Can't find a stick. Pitlick has it at the blue line. It's knocked away by Will Lockwood on the attempted centering shot in, and it's gathered up by Blackenberg, and he will move up ice. Intercepted by the Gophers. They're going to have a 2-on-1 opportunity here as Sheehy gets it up and just misses the stick of Gates. Would have had a 1-on-1 chance against Strauss-Mann, but they miss it. However, the Golden Gophers keep possession. Zielsdorf gets a shot in front. Tried to find a stick in front there of Sheehy, and that one goes wide. 10 seconds to go as Michigan clears down ice, and they will take the icing call with 8.6 remaining. Wall to wall. Movement.
Even though there's only 8 seconds left in the period, it's imperative that the Wolverines do not give up a goal in this remaining time. That would be absolutely crushing, as they've been dominating for most of this period, to see all that hard work go to waste.
8.6 to go. Norris is up against Novak in the circle just to the right of Strauss-Mann. As Michigan wins, Norris gets it. This should end the period if he can just hold it there on the boards, which is what he's going to do. As 2 seconds down to 1, and there's the horn to end the first period.
And a fight's breaking out between Josh Norris and Sampo Ranta.
Yep, looks like that one busted out on the boards right at the end of the period there. However, it was just a quick dust up, and the referees broke that one up before I could even look back as you said it, as both teams will now head to the locker rooms on different ends of the ice to keep them apart from each other. And Michigan will head to the locker room with a 1-0 lead and a 10-8 shots on goal lead at the end of the first period. Your score after one, number 15, Michigan 1, the Minnesota Golden Gophers 0. You're listening to Michigan men's hockey coverage on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. I'm Jeremy Parks alongside Charlie Goodwin. And now we welcome you inside the first period, or the first intermission show. Moving commercial free.
Quickly back to that little scrum between Ranta and Norris at the end of the period. Only lasted a couple of seconds, but it looks like it stemmed from the fact that those two were body to body for about the last 5 seconds of the period as Norris held the puck against the boards. And I guess Ranta just got frustrated with the fact that that was Norris's strategy that he went with, and the two went at it for a second or two.
And a frustrating period for Minnesota as they just struggled to get anything going consistently in the Michigan zone. Pretty much every opportunity they had came off of an awkward bounce or just a missed pass or a turnover from Michigan. So really not a great period in terms of offensive production from a sustainability standpoint. Even though Minnesota got 8 shots on net, it didn't look quite as good as Michigan, who seemed to be in the offensive zone a heck of a lot more that period than did the Golden Gophers.
Yeah, and that all comes back to something we've talked a lot about so far. We've talked about the speed of these two teams and how, although Michigan is usually the faster team in a contest, that the Gophers are a quick team as well. But what's interesting is the way that the Wolverines have created all these chances is by the dump and chase method. And if these two teams are as quick as we say they are, it shouldn't be so easy for the Wolverines to be rushing to the goal line and getting that puck every time. But that's what's been going on. So I think I think the Gophers need to up their intensity, up their speed, because it has just been a complete domination by the Wolverines thus far. Even though it's only 1-0 on the scoreboard, it's not truly representative of what's been going on down on the ice.
Yeah, the only big opportunity for the Golden Gophers on the period was the penalty at 8:17 to Jack Summers for interference as he sent McLaughlin flying into Strauss-Mann in net. That was a 2-minute penalty that Michigan killed off with relative ease. I don't even think Minnesota got a shot on net during that power play. If they did, it was only one. Yeah, so 0 shots on net during that power play for Minnesota. And then your goal on the period at 6:55 was Will Lockwood from Norris and Hughes. And that one was just a little kind of toe drag shot that got right under the 5-hole of Robson in net for the Golden Gophers. And that's where we stand at the end of 1-0. Just a note, it is 8:40 right now here in Ann Arbor. At 9 o'clock, we'll be heading off air on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. We'll be giving it back to your regularly scheduled programming. And then we will continue the broadcast here on youtube.com/WCBN Sports. Yeah, that was a fun period. Tough play-by-play period just because of the nonstop action that we had going there.
No, that was great hockey to see.
Yeah.
Not necessarily good hockey in terms of a coach's standards. A lot of turnovers.
It was fan hockey.
A lot of sloppy plays, but it's great fan hockey.
Yeah.
And that's something that is honestly great for the sport of hockey. Not that popular in terms of the major sports like football and basketball. But when fans get to see that end ice to end ice action with nonstop opportunities for each team to score, that's what really gets them going. That's what gets them excited, and it's good for the sport.
And with very minimal icing as well throughout that kind of end-to-end play, we didn't have a heck of a lot of stoppages, so really kept it wide open.
Yeah, there were about 3 or 4 icings throughout the period. A couple stoppages, which you and I were confused about why they even happened, but besides that, pretty much non-stop action throughout this first period.
Yeah, the one problem here from our vantage point at Yost, and we do have a great setup overall, but when looking from left to right, we do have a really large metal gantry right in our way looking at the goal that Michigan is trying to score on 2 periods out of 3. So when the puck gets back into that kind of near side corner on the right-hand side for us, we kind of lose sense of the action for just a minute unless we catch up on the Jumbotron. So sometimes we lose the action in there, but yeah, some of those stoppages that we had were well within sight, just didn't really see what they had called there. So the refereeing crew tonight so far doing pretty good, by my standards at least, I think.
I totally agree. A lot of times fans including myself, love to blame the outcome of the game or just the overall speed of the game on the referees. I think they've done a fantastic job thus far.
Yeah, we've got Brett Shiva and Stephen McKinchak as the referees tonight, and then the linesmen are Jonathan Sladek and Samuel Shawowski. Good crew so far tonight. So we are just about 10 minutes away from getting going in the second period, but I guess we can take this chance. We've kind of broken down the Michigan side coming into this game. We can talk a little NHL. A couple of professional watchers here as well. I just saw that Red Wings jersey down in the Children of Yost again, so it just got me kind of on the thought. Looks like there's a St. Louis Blues jersey down in the mix there as well. But your Canadiens, not as good as my Maple Leafs. That's where I'm going to start the conversation.
That is true, but not as good as your Maple Leafs doesn't mean bad. Because the Maple Leafs are arguably the best team in the NHL right now.
Other than the Lightning, yeah. And maybe Nashville on a given night.
Well, listen, if you had told me coming into the season that the Canadiens would comfortably be in a playoff spot for the season, I would not have believed you. And if you had told me that they would comfortably be in a playoff spot with Carey Price playing badly, I would have laughed at you. Because in the past, they have only done well under the stellar play of Carey Price, which has not been the story this season.
The was $62 million man. What was his deal? I can't remember. I was
84.
84. That's right. Yeah.
But we could go with 62.
You wish it was 62. I was in Montreal when they signed that deal as well. I remember reading the morning paper, and all it was just vitriol at that deal. How outlandish that price was.
Is it too much money? Of course it is. But I will defend Carey Price until the end. He is by far my favorite Montreal Canadiens player. In the past 5 seasons, they've made the playoffs 3 times and won the division twice. Being in the bottom half of the league in goals scored, he is he's literally carried the franchise on his back since he's been there.
You got to be happy with the salary cap increase that was announced this week at the Board of Governors meetings. The cap is going to go up to $83 million, roughly, according to Gary Bettman, which means teams like the Maple Leafs, teams like the Canadiens, which are housing some really big contracts right now, are going to have a little more spending room, and I think that's all courtesy of the Vegas Golden Knights coming into the league and producing a lot of revenue last year by being fantastic through the whole season in their debut in the NHL. But we'll see how that contract plays out over time for you. We're still very young into that contract.
That is true. That is true. But it's nice to see the Canadiens have offense. In all the years I've watched them, they've had these stellar defensemen, Shea Weber, PK Subban, and then they've played behind the goaltending of Carey Price. If they were down in a game 2-0, they weren't winning. It was set in stone. But now they've been down 3-0, 2-0, and they've come back to win 5-4, 6-4. And that's largely been to the arrival of Max Domi, which came through a trade for Alex Galchenyuk, which a lot of Canadiens fans, including myself, didn't like at the time. Max Domi had 9 goals last season, and Galchenyuk is one of our top goal scorers. But Domi already has 15 goals on the season. He's just breaking out this year.
Yep. Once you get him out of that awful climate that he was in, I guess that's that's time to thrive.
Well, back to Las Vegas also, the Golden Knights. Let's talk a little bit about what the NHL announced this week, was that Seattle will become
a new expansion,
the 32nd NHL franchise, starting play in the 2021-2022
season. Yep.
What do you think of that?
Oh, I think it's fantastic for the league. I think the conversation's already started about 33 and 34. I think that brings us right back to Arizona, too, because that's going to push Arizona to the Central, which I think the thought line for me there is if Arizona is a failure, a lot of conversation right now around a potential sale going for the Coyotes.
For the Hurricanes.
And the Hurricanes. But I think in terms of Arizona, that'd be an easy shift with the new divisional alignment to put them in Houston, which is, again, a big market that lacks a hockey team. I don't know how Houston will be as a hockey city, but if you can turn a city like Tampa Bay into a hockey city, I think you can do the same in a bigger market like Houston.
That's absolutely true.
So
Tampa Bay has been one of the best teams for the past decade.
Yeah, went to a game there last year with Alex Drain. We were down in Tampa calling some Michigan softball down at South Florida, and that was one of the best fan experiences I've had in the NHL. That was fantastic. Really, really enjoyed the opportunity to get to go there. They have the Tesla coils up on the roof that make like real lightning, like when they score. That was pretty great. Was at the Blue Jackets 2 weeks ago, the night before the Ohio State game.
They had the famous cannon.
Yeah, that was a loss, but I did get to see the cannon, and I will say, as many times as the Leafs got scored on that night, 4 rounds of it, getting to hear the cannon and then thunderstruck every time they score. Or sorry, for those about to rock, we salute you. That's what they played. That's a pretty awesome fan experience as well there in Columbus. But I still think, and this is terrible for me to say, I think Bell Centre is the highlight of my hockey fan experience. It's a holy grail.
I'm not quite as cultured as you. I say Bell Center. And yeah, I've been there one time. I always visit my grandparents in Montreal. One time, it's usually too late in the year for hockey season, but one time I got to go, and even though it was a loss in overtime to the Washington Capitals, it was by far the best hockey experience of my life. Everyone there, hockey is a religion in Montreal. Everyone there is just so invested in the game. Singing the goal song, Ale Montreal, with all the fans was incredible. No,
it's a one-team arena, whereas I feel like formerly Air Canada Centre, now Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, where I get to, is doesn't have quite the same kind of cathedral feel that you get when you head to Montreal. So definitely put that at the top of my list. But I'll be very excited to get to a game out in Seattle after 21 when they get out there. So I'm excited to see what they reveal the team name to be. They had some good options out there this week that I liked. Did you have one that you really liked?
I'm disappointed with the options like Totems and was it Renegades, and the only
Thunderbirds was one that I kind of liked.
I 100% want this team to be named the Whalers. I know people are bring back the original Whalers. That's not happening. An NHL team is not going back to Hartford.
If they add 33 and 34 now, maybe. And Quebec might get one back too.
Quebec needs one back. That would be incredible.
Get the Nordiques.
But the only thing I saw on that list that rivaled Whalers was Wales, and I think if you're going to name them the Whales, you're clearly not going to name another team the Whalers. You might as well make them the Whalers. And the colors fit perfectly. That green and blue are the exact same shade that the Seahawks and the Mariners use. Yeah. And just in terms of the actual city, it's great that the city of Seattle gets a hockey team. I mean, they were stripped of their beloved Sonics.
I think it's going to help them ultimately getting basketball back to Seattle
of course, because they could use that arena for the basketball team as well.
And you start showing that the market is strong and that you can get people interested, because I believe right away Seattle is going to be a great hockey town.
Yeah, they were wrongfully stripped of that Supersonics team 10 years ago now.
I'm looking forward to a cross-border rivalry with the Canucks. That'll be really fun to see as well. Canucks doing really well right now as well, kind of in that process of transitioning out of the old and into the new. Brock Besser, I think, is one of the bright young stars of the league right now.
Even younger than Brock Besser, you have Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, Pettersson's
who's making a run at that Calder, the Rookie of the Year.
They're going to have Quinn Hughes probably next year, so it'll be interesting to see what goes on in Vancouver, but that'll be a great rivalry to see when it gets underway. So, yeah, great things to come out of the Board of Governors meetings this week. The cap increase, we've got hockey coming to Seattle. We're back to 32 teams in the NHL. It's going to be exciting times in hockey, expanding the brand, more and more people watching hockey every year, increasing viewership while sports like baseball are starting to see a decline. So, great things going on, despite the fact that Gary Bettman has to be the name behind it all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Knights were... The NHL should be so lucky the Knights had an amazing inaugural season.
Yeah.
That was incredible. I mean, I have fans who hate hockey, have no interest in hockey. I don't know how that's possible, but even those...
But you can watch Vegas. And
were like, cool, go Knights. Like, they thought that was awesome, and it was awesome.
Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about with this expansion is going to be another supplemental draft, which is going to kill me as a Leafs fan watching who we put protective tags on and who we don't.
But it's always interesting to see how kind of those scraps of teams that they don't want come together to form that team. I know we have only seen it once in the NHL, but it's interesting to see how just scraps were pulled from different teams and they somehow gelled to work out. Like a big rejuvenation for James Neal, who now signed a huge contract with the Flames.
We are just about 30 seconds away here from second period action. You've been listening to the first period intermission show here on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. We've got about 8 minutes left here on air on 88.3, and then we're just going to have to transition back over to YouTube, where we have been and will continue to be through the rest of the game. Before we get there, it's probably going to happen in the middle of the action. We'll get a good break close to 9 o'clock for Dean in studio to give the switch back over to regularly scheduled programming at 9. But keep an eye out for that in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, Michigan carries a 1-0 lead here into the second period. We'll see if we continue to have that really fast-paced, exciting play from the first, as Josh Norris is getting ready to face off against Rem Pitlick in the circle. As their sticks are down, the puck drops, and we are back underway here with second period action from Yost. Michigan leads 1-0 over the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Wolverines win the face-off, and they dump and run deep back in to open up the period. Big hit late in the boards by Lockwood. Back in the Minnesota defensive zone, but Pitlick has it in the neutral zone, and we're going to have a delayed penalty coming against Michigan as Robson, I should say, is going to skate out of net towards the bench. Minnesota will have the extra attacker, and Michigan does well to get a stick to it with Will Lockwood. That'll stop the extra man for just a moment, and Michigan will collect its feet. We're going to have a penalty here as it looks like Lockwood is going to be the one skating to the box. Get you the penalty call in just a moment.
It's always a bad sign to see a penalty come that early into the period.
Yeah.
Michigan only obtained one penalty that whole first period, and already a little over 30 seconds into the second one, they've got another one.
It's going to be 2 minutes for elbowing on Lockwood, and that one's coming just 34 seconds into the second period. It's going to be a 2-minute power play for Minnesota. They didn't get a shot on goal in the last power play opportunity they had. We'll see if the Michigan kill can do as well this time. Minnesota wins the faceoff. as they're working it at the blue line. Phillips shovels a shot in, and that one goes wide of goal. It bounces off the backboards and right to the side of Strauss-Mann, who puts a glove down to it before Gates can get a stick there, and that'll stop play with 1:50 remaining in the power play, 19:16 remaining in the second period.
Yeah, this Michigan team's, their penalty kill is operating at a clip of 80%, which put them tied for 35th in the nation. Not that great. However, they have looked pretty solid thus far on the penalty kill.
Norris going up against Sheehy in the circle. Michigan trying to get possession and clear it and waste some time on this kill. However, Minnesota gets the puck and they throw it back to the blue line. Phillips goes to Pitlick on the near side boards. Referee goes tumbling on the skates of Pitlick as the puck is worked back to the far side and knocked away there by Blackenberg, as Minnesota will have to go back and reset. We're a quarter of the way through the kill, 1:30 to go. Minnesota pushing up ice again. Now on the near side boards there with the Golden Gophers is Phillips again back at the blue line. Cuts it back over, takes it off his stick and gives it to Pitlick. The center man busting it down below the circle. Now takes an opportunity right in front, and it got to the stick of Gates, but he couldn't get past Strauss-Mann. He was uncovered right in front of net. Not a good look there for Michigan defensively, but a good save again there by Strauss-Mann. And Minnesota remains scoreless here with 1:08 remaining in the power play.
Yeah, it doesn't even really seem like Michigan's a man down. The Golden Gophers really have not created that many chances on their 2 power plays so far. It seems like they are simply set up on the offensive zone, not even on a power play.
Walker up against Garrett Van Wy in the circle. Michigan wins the faceoff, but there's a tussle for it in the circle as the Wolverines do win out. And now they're going to have an opportunity down ice if Slaker can win out with his speed, which he just about does, but is held up just enough for a second Gopher to get back on the back check there and regain possession as now the Golden Gophers push forward. They've got it moving up ice now with Tyler Nanny. However, Michigan knocks it away and back to the end boards again. Time continues to waste. Minnesota's got 1 shot on goal so far here in the man advantage. They've got 34 seconds left to make it count. Moving up ice, odd angle dump in. Regathered there by Minnesota as they push back to the blue line, and a slapper from the point knocked away there by Griffin Luce. 6th knockdown of the night for the Wolverines. Nanny taking another shot, and again it gets off the stick. He was looking for Sampo Ranta in the slot. As now Brendan Warren has it on his stick, and he's going to push up ice and waste some time. That should about do it for the power play. 6 seconds to go. As now Warren has it in the offensive zone for the Wolverines, and he's going to blow the rest of that power play away. And again, Minnesota goes begging on the man advantage. It remains again, 1-0.
Just another weak power play for the Golden Gophers. Could not get anything going besides a weak shot that was stopped by Strauss-Mann. They really, really have to work on that.
Technically 2 shots on net there. One was a real opportunity, but one was much less so. But better than their first attempt in which they got no shots on goal. But
that is true.
Both of them failing all the same to produce the first goal of the night for the Gophers. 16:53 and ticking remaining here in the second period as now Michigan going to play the dump and chase, it looks like, again here. Hughes pushing up ice, leaves it there for Becker. Becker's going to try and deke a little move around to the right-hand side. Puck battling away, goes back to Ciccone at the blue line. Chance in front for Mike Pastujov. He just couldn't get his stick to it.
And that would have been Pastujov to Pastujov right there, the brother connection.
They're not on the same line tonight, but they're both out on the ice right now. Moving around, a little in-game adjustment there for Mel Pearson as Quinn Hughes is going to skate up ice. He's just splitting defenders. He takes a shot right from the top of the slot, goes wide. Trying to gather there was Nick Pastujov, couldn't quite get there. Boy, Quinn Hughes is good when he gets a little space.
Yeah, he is truly the definition of an offensive defenseman. He just has it all right now.
They're so scared of him that they just kind of stay their line, and he stayed his line and just worked his way straight on net. As Jack Randall takes a shot that bounces off the kick pads there of Matt Robson, and then the puck bounces back away from Michigan at the blue line and goes all the way back to Strauss-Mann, as Michigan will have to head back behind their own net to get reset there with Nick Boca. Pass goes up to the blue line at Lambert. Lambert's tripped. No call there. Referee's right on top of it there, the line judge, and nothing doing. So, again, that looked like a pretty clear trip, but nothing called. Minnesota does not have a penalty yet on the night against them, as the Golden Gophers pushing into Michigan's defensive zone. Puck is behind the net right now with Minnesota. Pitlick had it back there, and it was worked away by Boca. Now a battle in the corner again between Pitlick and Boca. Trying to come in there to help out. It looks like Randall, and it gets back to Blankenberg. As Blankenberg plays it up, a little chop pass that stays in the air, gets knocked in by Michigan and allows time for some fresh skates on the ice. Clayton Phillips moving up ice for Minnesota as he gets it to Rem Pitlick right at the blue line. Loses it to a Michigan stick, though, and Michigan will go back behind the net and reset. As Will Lockwood skating up through the neutral zone. He's got Slaker on the far side. Looked to go right back across his body, top shelf, and missed. Goes back to the blue line, and a shot in there bounces off from Luke Martin. Couple of good looks there for the Wolverines. Boy, that was a good cross-ice pass to Slaker. Just couldn't convert. Michigan still has possession.
And the Wolverines look to be back in control now, setting up on offense.
Summers takes a dump shot in. It's on the left-hand side. Can't quite get the redirect in on goal. As it goes back again now for the Wolverines with Luke Martin. Lockwood working around the slot, tried to backhand it towards the net. Now Norris takes it at the blue line. Chop shot knocked down by Sheehy. Big shot levied there again by Luke Martin. He's taken a couple really good chances there on that possession, but finally Sampo Ranta and the Minnesota Golden Gophers get it away. They're going to change 4 of their skaters right now as Michigan will wrap around reset, and they'll dump and change.
Yeah, that was an amazing opportunity for the Wolverines right there.
Couple of them.
I think it went off the upper post, couldn't quite see.
Either that or just missed, but it was a good cross-body shot there from Slaker as he tried to put it up over the left shoulder of Robson. Michigan misses out on another opportunity there, looking for a centering pass in front, and Minnesota works it back to the neutral zone, and we've got a whistle. No signal yet. Not sure if we've got offside. I think it's just an offside.
Yeah, it's an offside, I think.
Yeah.
But back to that point, a couple minutes ago, the pass draw was almost connected for a goal. I said before that was something that kind of struck me on the lineup, that the pass draws weren't playing on the same line, because when they play together, it just seems like good things happen. And I think Mel Pearson realized that, which is why they're playing together in this second period.
13:25 remaining here in the second period. Wolverines lead 1-0. They also lead in the shots category 14-10 as they play the hockey song here with the band. Seats have pretty much filled out. I wouldn't quite call it a sellout, but it's pretty close tonight. Should have another good crowd here again tomorrow for the second matchup between these two sides. We're going to have that call for you as well on WCBN Sports, and it is 9 o'clock, so we will now head back to your regularly scheduled programming on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. A big thanks again to Dean in studio for us tonight. And Dean, feel free to switch it back over now, and you should be all set to go. You can continue listening with us here on youtube.com/WCBN Sports. We do appreciate your listenership, as always. And we send a go blue to those of you tuning in on 88.3, and we'll leave you with a good night. As we are back underway, out of the TV timeout. Face-off is won by the Golden Gophers, who get it back in behind, and they're working a few passes around. They can't get anything substantial going as Michigan wins away, and they've got 3 skaters coming up ice, and again an offside call. This time it's Mike Pastujov, and it looks like we're going to have another bit of action into the boards here as Sadek gets his mitt up into the face of Pastujov. Let's see if we see any penalty minutes come out of this. It looked to be entirely instigated by Sadek and the Golden Gophers back in the corner. I think we're going to stay clean, though.
Yeah, we will stay clean on this one. However, Sadek only came over and roughed up Pastujov because he took a shot clearly after the play was whistled off sides, and you know that you can never mess with someone's goalie like that.
All right, Michigan wins the face-off here as they dump in and chase through the neutral zone. Lambert has it on the near side boards. He tried to get it back to Hughes at the blue line, but it's intercepted by McLaughlin, who has it for Minnesota. Keeps the puck on side at the blue line as well until Lambert fights it away and forces Minnesota to dump. Strauss-Mann in behind his own net. Again, dangerous the way that he's coming out and playing some of these tonight. But he gets it away, and Michigan starts an attack up the left side with Quinn Hughes. Hughes goes back into the corner. And he gathers McLaughlin around the neck. No stick there, no interference there.
Don't know how he got away with that one, to be honest.
Maybe a get me over penalty from what should have been a call against Michigan a few moments ago near the blue line. Either way, Michigan has possession in the offensive zone here still as Dakota Raby is skating around the left side circle. As he gets it back to Lambert, or should I say Morgan, and Morgan loses possession in the circle. And Minnesota tries to push up, but a good back check there by Raby gets the puck right back for Michigan. Hughes pushing forward. Hughes digging around. Hughes goes to Raby. Raby takes a shot from the left circle, and it's gathered in there right into the chest of Matt Robson. That'll be the 15th shot on net of the night for the Wolverines as we have another stoppage at 11:50 to go here in the second period. Your score 1-0 Michigan.
That was a wonderful setup by Quinn Hughes, slicing through the Gopher defense. They couldn't quite get the puck to the back of the net, but a good chance nonetheless, and the Wolverines look to be back in control in this game offensively.
Van Wy wins the faceoff for Michigan out of the left circle, and they keep possession. Boca looking around. He tries to send the pass in front, can't find a stick. Minnesota's now got a chance to push up ice. They're moving fast around that left-hand side, but Blankenberg doing a good job to get back there. And he will stymie the progress as it's now tied up in the boards. And again, Blankenberg tries to wrap it around to get it clear, but it's stopped there by Raby. Now coming away with possession for Minnesota is Tyler Nani. Gophers still have it. Michigan struggling to get that puck away from Minnesota as they look for the wraparound clearing pass in front. Unable to get home there, and now Garrett Van Wy trying to skate onto the puck. He's got an opportunity down ice, and a good tangle-up fight there as he went all the way back with Ben Brinkman. And Brinkman did a good job to keep the speedy Van Wy off of a good opportunity. Would have been one-on-one had he broken free.
That was a great race to the puck. Once again, end-to-end hockey that went right to the boards, but the Wolverine was just not able to corral the puck for that one-on-one.
Michigan's caught flat-footed. A cross-ice pass over to the circle. Doesn't find anybody. Now Clayton Phillips has a shot from the top of the right circle, and he goes high and wide. A couple of chances there for Minnesota. And now Michigan regains possession and pushes up the left-hand side with Slaker. Slaker tried to dump back to Lockwood, got caught up, and they will lose possession as Pitlick will take it back. He looked for a cross-ice pass to the stick of Sheehy, but couldn't get there before the icing call. So we'll have a stoppage that'll bring it back at 10:14 remaining in the second period. Your score 1-0 Michigan here on the Michigan Hockey Radio Network.
Yeah, that cross-ice pass just missed the stick of Sheehy. Would have been a great opportunity for the Golden Gophers, but it would not be, as there's going to be another face-off in the Wolverines offensive zone.
And Nick Pastujov will head to the circle for the Wolverines. He'll go up against Connor Sheehy. As Pastujov wins it, gives it to Becker, goes back to Hughes at the blue line, dumps in, was looking for Mike Pastujov's stick, and it bounced high and wide. Hughes regathers in the neutral zone. He was looking all the way across to Becker, intercepts a pass, and Michigan has possession back as they'll drop and look for something a little different this time, as again, Hughes is just going to skate right up the middle. Hits it right to the corner, puts a good hip check in there, gets it back to Becker at the top of the point, and that one just goes wide. He had a good chance there, no pressure for that shot. As Michigan keeps it onside in possession, as Hughes now getting back. It's going to be a good opportunity here for Brent Gates. Gates coming up the left-hand side. He gets it to Sheehy. Sheehy tries to go back in front. What a save by Strauss-Mann.
As you hear the crowd roar in appreciation of Strauss-Mann.
Whoa,
the Gophers had a clear shot on goal, and Strauss-Mann just stood his ground and stopped that puck.
Gates caught the Wolverines flat-footed trying to get back. Hughes was the only defenseman. Gates got a nice cross-ice pass back to Tyler Sheehy, and Sheehy just failed to put the backhand between the legs of Strauss-Mann, and the Michigan freshman looking fantastic. He stopped everything tonight, and it's still scoreless.
And the thing that I like to see most from Strauss-Mann, which I've seen this game, is that when there's an obvious opportunity brewing for the opposing team, he doesn't get frantic. He doesn't move around in his crease. He stands his ground, he stays composed, and he keeps his eye on the puck.
9:28 remaining in the second period here. We're going to have another TV timeout as they'll come out and clean the ice. Shot 16-12 in favor of the Wolverines. Strauss-Mann really the only thing between Michigan and a tie game right now after that last opportunity for the Golden Gophers.
It's kind of reminding you of Carey Price right now, isn't he? Just for $84 million less.
Yeah, right? Looking pretty darn good out there. Maybe Freddie Anderson by my tastes, but they're going to play the Friends song here, the Friends theme song. I saw this week Netflix is paying $100 million to keep Friends on Netflix.
Oh, they're keeping it.
For 1 year.
I saw that
For $100 million. More than Carey Price is worth.
Well, that's how much people love Friends, you know? Netflix, they'll be there for you.
So there you go. Looks like we're about to get ready here to get back underway as the shovel crew is off the ice. Looks like Novak going up against Van Wy in the circle. Just to the left of Strauss-Mann. Gophers win the faceoff. Now tied up in the corner boards. Couple of bodies in there. Puck finally squirts free, goes all the way back across. Michigan trying to clear it, but a good job there by Novak to get back and keep possession. He's looking for Sampo Ranta behind the net. But Van Wy intercepts the pass and knocks it past the blue line. Minnesota offside's going to have to get back. They skate back around with Ranta. Ranta back onside, tries to wrap it all the way back around. Almost a nice opportunity there for the Finn. Shots bouncing back around on both sides of Strauss-Mann, but he has done well so far tonight. That's his 13th stop on as many opportunities. Tie up now on the left-hand side boards. 5 or 6 different bodies in on that tie-up as the puck squirts away, and now it's a chase by Dakota Raby, but he doesn't get there in time. Gophers will dump and chase as they will get the touch actually off the stick there. And they have an opportunity in front as well, and it squirts behind Strauss-Mann. No goal yet, no signal, a scramble in front. The puck is in. Goal for Minnesota. The puck bounced up in the air off of Strauss-Mann. There was a big scramble in front. There's some pleas for interference. Still down on the ice on his knees is Nick Boca. The signal from the referees is that the puck went in. This is going to be an instant review.
Well, I think the reason that the Wolverines won't get interference here is because Nick Boca, the defenseman, the Michigan defenseman, was the one who made the contact with Strauss-Mann and held him down.
Knocked around for the Gophers by Walker and Burke, and I think they're going to credit the goal to Walker. The referee was right on top of it, and they do say it's a good goal.
It's one of those situations where there's no way they weren't going to score. Strauss-Mann was face down on the ice, Nick Boca on top of him, and with an empty net, Division I college hockey players are going to put that in the back eventually.
And that's a really tough break for Strauss-Mann. You can't blame him for that one. The puck got up in the air and behind him, and eventually after a big scramble, Minnesota gets a puck across for the first time tonight. We now have a tie hockey game, 1-1 here with 7:54 and ticking remaining in the second period. The official goal is credited to McManus, actually, and the assists coming from Walker.
Yeah, as you said, really, really tough break for Strauss-Mann. He's having a phenomenal game thus far. To lose his clean sheet like that just is frustrating.
Minnesota has the puck in Michigan has the puck in Minnesota's offensive zone, I should say. And now Minnesota gets it back, as they will kick back and reset. Minnesota tried to put pressure on, and it took a bit of an awkward bounce for them to finally break back even in this game, and now the Wolverines are going to go back on the attack. Martin cutting up ice right across that Big Ten logo for the Wolverines. He tried the bounce pass off the boards for Slaker. The pass by Gilsorf is going to go up off the skate of Slaker and out of play. A stoppage here at 7:02 remaining in the second period. But again, the goal there for the Golden Gophers credited to the right winger Brandon McManus, a sophomore out of Newport Beach, California. I believe that's his 6th goal of the season for the Gophers. Tie game. Face-off is just inside the neutral zone here, and it's won by the Wolverines. Quinn Hughes has the puck as he tracks back and gets it over to Joe Ciccone. Ciccone gives to Hughes. Hughes cuts forward. He finds Lockwood right at the blue line. Lockwood tries to drag the toe and put it in for a centering pass, but can't get there. And now the Gophers have a 2-on-1 opportunity. Pitlick, Sheehy, Pitlick. Pitlick couldn't put it in. He had an open net on the left-hand side. Another opportunity in front, scores. Back-to-back goals real fast for the Gophers. This time it's the center, Rem Pitlick, and he continues an absolute hot streak for Minnesota as he nets yet another goal on the season. That one is going to be his 7th of the season. And now, just like that, it's a 2-1 Minnesota lead. That one, Michigan just got caught flat skated.
Quite frankly, I'm confused what happened on that last play. There was absolutely nobody back for the Wolverines. And when you got 3 guys trying to score on 1 man, it's probably gonna go in eventually.
6:32 remaining in the second period. The goal by Rem Pitlick, the assist by Sadek and Sheehy. Two to 1 in favor of Minnesota. 2 goals in the second period for the Golden Gophers have seen them to the lead. However, Michigan wins the faceoff. Coming out of that goal, shots are 16-15 in favor of Michigan. And Minnesota finally has a little pep in their step as they're pushing up ice again as they go right to left. Looking for a little bit of movement here and some centering passes. Knocked away by Strauss-Mann. Puck is back at the blue line. Rossini sends a shot in and it's blocked away. Rossini regathers his own rebound coming back around. Minnesota goes around the end boards behind Strauss-Mann. And the centering pass knocked away by Nick Pastujov. However, Minnesota still retains possession. Michigan can't clear. They are in a bit of a funk here at the moment. Another centering pass in front. Nobody's home, though, and that one's gathered up by Warren and given away to Nick Pastujov up the right-hand side. Pastujov cutting in. Pastujov is pushed into the boards. Where's the penalties? No idea where the refereeing crew is right now. That is ugly officiating as Nick Pastujov was clearly shoved right into the boards.
The Wolverines have not been given 1 call thus far in this game tonight. Minnesota has 2 power plays. The Wolverines still have 0 with quite a few questionable non-calls.
5:18 remaining as the puck goes up and out of play. And they are going to say that it came off of a stick, and so nothing will come of that one either. But boy, there have been about 3 or 4 calls tonight that have looked just clear as day from this point of view against Minnesota, and 1 or 2 against Michigan that they've gotten away with as well.
Yes.
To be entirely honest. So again, this second period has not looked great for this refereeing crew from our angle, but it'll be a Michigan face-off in the offensive zone, down by a goal with 5:17 left here in the second period. Norris is going to go up against Walker. Norris wins the face-off, gives to Hughes at the blue line, and goes back across to Ciccone, fumbles the pass but keeps it onside. And it's back to Hughes at the blue line now after going all the way around. He dumps in centering pass looking for Slaker. Slaker knocks it away to the corner. Norris does a good job to keep it in, battling against McLaughlin. Everybody lost the puck for a minute. McLaughlin finally recovers and clears it down the ice. No icing will come, doesn't have enough mustard. Hughes will knock it up the right-hand side. Dump back now for Ciccone. Now Lambert's got it. Lambert was looking for a streaking Norris across the blue line, but it goes past him. But Michigan regains possession after hustling it away from Minnesota, and Lambert almost had a beautiful opportunity given to Slaker there across ice, and a big hit into the boards. No penalty coming, but there's a Gopher down. No whistle yet either. Loose stick, loose skater. Wolverines got it, and a big slap shot on net by Slaker, and finally they blow the play dead. As down on his side there, trying to tell who that is for the Gophers. I think it's Ben Brinkman.
Yeah, that was an absolute, he got rocked. I didn't see who hit him, but he was absolutely rocked. You heard it on the ice. You heard the reaction from the fans. He was down for, he's up now, but he was down for about 20 seconds as the crowd applauds him as for standing up.
He got some jeers from the Michigan fans because Michigan kept possession and had an opportunity there, so I think some of the Wolverines fans are arguing that he might have stayed down to stop the play, which eventually they did as Slaker took a slap shot that will not count. But nonetheless, it is good to see that Ben Brinkman is okay because he did take quite a walloping into the boards. No penalties, again, all around. Just not sure what's going on here, Charlie.
They're just letting the boys play tonight.
.420 to go here in the second period. Minnesota has finally taken the shots lead for the first time tonight, 17-16.
Yeah, it looks as if in this second period, the roles have been kind of flipped from the teams, whereas now it looks as if Michigan can't really clear the puck, and Minnesota is getting all the opportunities in the offensive zone.
And they're now reviewing the hit on Brinkman. It came from Norris, and it looks clean to me.
It does look clean, yes.
I want to see it again. It doesn't look like he let in with anything vicious. I mean, it doesn't look like a Tom Wilson hit, if that's what we're talking about.
No, definitely not. He definitely went in there with the right posture and positioning. But what I think they're probably looking at is how long after Brinkman released the puck was he hit. And the referees will come out now to make their call.
And referees are going to skate over to both benches for the explanation. We'll see what it is as the referees are talking to Mel Pearson. I don't think we're going to see a penalty come out of this. Nothing's gone up on the board. No doors are opening for the sin bin either here right underneath us.
It looks as if Norris will not go to the box. Pearson didn't look unhappy with what the referee told him. We don't know what that is yet, but we should find out shortly.
Yeah, Norris stays on the bench, so he seems to get off scot-free there, which from the replay, it looked like the right call to me. Again, it's hit or miss a lot of times, but that one looked cleaner than most. Just a hard hit on Brinkman. Brinkman's fine. Norris isn't in the box. We're back underway here with 4:15 and ticking remaining as the Gophers won the face-off and they cleared the puck away. As Michigan regathers with Summers in the neutral zone. Summers gives away to Novak. Novak to Ranta at the blue line, but Ranta is dispossessed by Warren. Now cutting up ice is Luke Martin as he sends it in behind. Robson goes behind his cage to make the play on it. Wolverines intercepting some passes in the neutral zone, trying to settle the puck down. It's bouncing pretty heavily as it squirts back away to the Minnesota defensive line. They will push back, get a couple of skates, and good pressure there by Brendan Warren. Found a good chance to Becker, but they couldn't put it away. That was great forechecking pressure there by Brendan Warren. Never saw it coming. Stole the pass, got a good shot opportunity in the slot off the pass that he made, but nothing doing. As Michigan again on the forechecking pressure. Mike Pastujov keeps it in with his body. He goes to Will Lockwood in the slot. He goes down, nothing coming.
But Lockwood tried to do way too much on that play through the legs deep.
Tried to draw it back a little bit.
Could have easily shot it himself or passed it to, I believe, Slaker.
But it's opening up. Yeah, it's opening up for Michigan again a little bit here with 3 minutes to go in the second period. A shot opportunity in front, score! Pass comes across from the near side boards and it finds a wide and waiting stick of Luke Morgan. We're right back to tied hockey. Goal Michigan. It's 2-2 here with 2:54 remaining in the second period.
That was by far the nicest goal of this game so far.
Yep.
A perfect pass in front of the net, which all Morgan had to do was tuck away right past Matt Robson.
Beautiful lateral movement, and I believe the assist came from Mike Pastujov. No, yes, yeah, it did.
Yes.
Pastujov to Morgan, so that'll be the assist there,
yeah.
And right into the slot, unmarked. And that'll be the second goal of the game for Michigan on 17 shots. 2 goals on 17 shots as well for Minnesota, as we are back to tie hockey here with 2:44 remaining in the second period.
And that's all chemistry, just knowing where your players are going to be. Great play from Mike Pastujov.
Michigan got a little bit of urgency about him, and they started finding some good opportunities. We'll see if they keep it up here, as they've got possession in the offensive zone. Boca's got it at the blue line. He goes back to Blankenberg. Blankenberg cross ice to Slaker down low. Slaker wrapping around, tries the wraparound shot, bounces up and off, and the Gophers will clear it. Does it have enough to get down for icing? No, Strauss-Mann will stop it, as Blankenberg will wrap around, and he'll cut up ice. He hits Raby at the blue line to knock it in, but it goes high and over the glass, out of play. Actually trapped right between the net and the glass on top. And that'll be a stoppage in play at 2:05 remaining here in the second period. Shots 18 apiece, goals 2 apiece. A close game here and some Big Ten action between the number 15 Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan men's hockey here on the Michigan Student Hockey Radio Network. Face-off in the neutral zone is won by the Wolverines as Jack Randall down in the corner. Randall gives it back to Joe Ciccone. Ciccone goes to Hughes on the left-hand side. Hughes trips over himself and loses possession, but dumps it in so as not to give up a one-on-one opportunity to Minnesota. And now Minnesota pushing up ice up the left-hand side. They've got it there with Jack Ramsey. Ramsey pushes up to the left-hand side, dumps the puck into the corner where there's a tie-up. Ciccone is in there. Randall is in there. Both on Ramsey, and finally they win it away. Give it to Quinn Hughes and then to Van Wy. Van Wy, nice cross pass to Raby. Raby pushes it up just a little bit. Couldn't quite get it purely on the stick. Goes back to Ciccone, who takes a slapper that's knocked down by Scott Reedy. As Minnesota will dump and change.
Dangerous play by Strauss-Mann there.
Again, coming out. He's very mobile.
At least he's feeling confident tonight.
Yeah. Again, he's very much not at fault for the first goal, really not at fault for the second goal either.
Absolutely.
Just under a minute now here remaining in the second period as Michigan has pushed the puck into the Minnesota defensive zone. McLaughlin intercepts, though, for the Golden Gophers and pushes up to Walker as Walker goes up ice. He cuts around Luke Martin, goes back towards the slot. Well cut off at the last moment by Nick Boca right in front of net. Cleared away. Nani has it for Minnesota. He goes for a cross-ice pass, but there's nobody on the far side to take that one for him as it crosses the blue line and Michigan regains possession. A giveaway to Zielsdorf as he dumps in and Nick Boca takes it. 20 seconds remaining here in the second period. Michigan doesn't seem too intent to cut up too quickly as they tried to chop it to Brendan Warren on a little saucer that goes knocked away. As Warren will chop it all the way down the ice. And with 4 seconds remaining, make it 3.6. We're going to have an icing call on the dump by the Wolverines. It'll come back to their defensive zone, so should be about one more face-off. And we will be into the locker rooms again for the second period intermission. 2-2 your score.
Before we gear up for an exciting third period, as this hockey game will probably be tied at the end of these 3.6 seconds.
Say that a little too soon here. We'll see how Minnesota does off the faceoff, that they can win and get a quick shot opportunity. It'll be Nick Pastujov taking it for the Wolverines.
And if Minnesota scores, you could all blame me.
Yep, Sheehy taking it for Minnesota. Gophers win the faceoff, and it's knocked away on the shot opportunity. As time expires, they looked for something across the face of goal, couldn't get it, and the buzzer will sound. We'll head to the locker room after an exciting period of hockey. Michigan outscored by Minnesota 2-1 that period, but we head to the locker rooms all squared up. All sides of the board, 2-2 your score here, shots 18-18. Charlie, your thoughts on, again, an exciting period of hockey?
I think Minnesota really came out great in that second period. The beginning of the period seemed kind of the same story as the first period. Wolverines controlling in their offensive zone. Minnesota with not many chances. But at about the, I'd say, 15-minute mark of this period, Minnesota has really kicked it up in extra gear, scoring those 2 goals to take the lead before Michigan tied it back up with the goal from Luke Morgan. So I think as we go to this third period, we're going to see just really physical hockey and that same end-to-end action we've seen all night.
That'll do it for us here in the second period. We're no longer on air on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, so we're actually going to take a break here at the intermission. We'll be back in just about 15 minutes with your coverage of the third period here in a tied hockey game between the Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Sound's going to go silent, but the video will stay live. Come back in 15 minutes for third period action. I'm Jeremy Parks alongside Charlie, and I just lost my breath there for some reason. And we are going to take a break. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, welcome back inside Yost Ice Arena here for third period action between the number 15 Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Jeremy Parks alongside Charlie Goodwin. With just about a minute to go before the third period, we're in a tie hockey game, 2-2 between the Maize and Blue and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. 18 shots apiece for both sides. And Charlie, what's going to be the difference maker here in the third period?
Any hockey fan should be extremely excited for what's about to happen on the ice for these next 20 minutes. These teams have been going at it for the whole night, end-to-end, end-ice-to-end ice action, big hits. The referee is just letting them play tonight, and I think the difference here for the Wolverines is not being caught flat-footed. Both Gopher goals have resulted in the Wolverines being caught flat-footed on the ice, and Minnesota having an odd man rush that Strauss-Man had absolutely no chance to stop on either goal.
2 goals in the last period to Minnesota, 1 to the Maize and Blue. Michigan had the opening goal back in the first period, and that's where we stand at 2-2. Michigan got tied back up right before they headed into the locker room on an assist from Mike Pastujov. Excuse me, again, to Luke Morgan.
It happens to the best of us.
Shouldn't have had the Chela's burrito that I had today.
That'll do it.
Heartburn City. 20 minutes to go, though, here in the third period as Josh Norris and Rem Pitlick are out to the center circle. They take the face-off. We're back underway. Pitlick won it away. Let's do that hockey, Charlie.
As they say in hockey.
Let's do that hockey.
Let's do that hockey.
Wolverines have it back in the backboards as they work it up. A nice deke move there by Norris, who just tried to do a little bit too much, and I think we're going to see a penalty call here against Minnesota.
And that's the first power play the Michigan Wolverines will go on in this contest.
Yep, it's going to go against Tyler Sheehy, the captain of this Gophers team. He's going to get 2 minutes. I'm going to guess for a trip, maybe. It was as Norris was coming up the ice, right in the neutral zone as he crossed his own blue line. And, yeah, I think he might have gotten him in there right on a trip.
Yeah.
So that'll be 2 minutes, and it'll be the Wolverines' first power play opportunity of the night. It actually goes down as a hook, but Michigan wins the face-off, and it kind of dribbles right over in front where it's gathered in by Matt Robson. We're going to do it all over again here. It takes 3 seconds off the kill.
And look at Strauss-Man. Well, he just went back into a standing position now, but you saw him practicing his butterfly, moving crease to crease. Always on top of his game.
Norris wins the face-off, but it bounces back to a Minnesota stick, and it's cleared all the way back to Strauss-Man, who handles it, leaves it there for Joe Ciccone. Novak in there on the forechecking pressure. Ciccone moving up the left-hand side slowly, methodically, as it's dumped back for Quinn Hughes. Hughes pushes up with speed. He cuts back left to right across the blue line. Dumped in down the right-hand side, goes back to Hughes, who goes back to Ciccone on the left, back to Hughes on the right. Hughes now switches over to the right. Swaps back over, shot laid by Norris, and it just got high. I think they got just a piece of it there, either a Minnesota stick or Robson himself, as that one goes all the way back to the Michigan zone. It was a really good slapper opportunity there for Josh Norris, as Michigan will reset with just over a minute remaining on the man advantage. Will Lockwood has it on the right-hand side. He dumps it back for Quinn Hughes as he crosses the blue line. Hughes in front, takes a shot, and it goes right up into that golden M on the chest of Matt Robson. Another good opportunity for the Wolverines, but no goal. They've registered 3 shots so far here on the power play. Nothing doing with 59 seconds to go.
Yeah, really nice power play so far for the Wolverines. Haven't been able to net one, obviously, but they're knocking on the doorstep right now.
18:39 remaining in the period, 59 seconds on the power play for Michigan. Novak is going to take the face-off against Becker. Becker wins it for the Wolverines. It goes back to Boca at the blue line. Now Mike Pastujov has it top the circle. He tried to fake the pass, but it's poke-checked away by Minnesota, as they now have a chance to come up ice with it and burn some time off the clock. 40 seconds to go here as Minnesota has it. comfortably back at their own blue line. They go for a cross ice pass to Novak. It bounces away, goes to Strauss-Mann. Mann leaves it there for Blankenberg. Blankenberg drops back. We've seen a lot of him tonight for Michigan. Has done pretty well. As Nick Boca now has it, and he cuts right up through center ice. Gives it off to Becker on the right-hand side. 19 seconds to go on the power play for the Wolverines. They've got the puck back down deep in the corner. It's with Mike Pastujov. He cuts in, gives it over to his brother. Goes back to Mike again at the top of the circle, who goes across over to Boca. Goes down in deep for Blankenberg, and a good job by Minnesota to keep Michigan struggling here, and that's going to kill off the final seconds of the man advantage. But Michigan still with a chance in front, and Blankenberg whiffed. He had an open net on the far side of Robson and just couldn't get his stick to it.
Yeah, great opportunity right there for the Wolverines, right as the power play expired. Unfortunately, Blankenberg just could not handle it.
Michigan now 0 for 1 on the power play. Minnesota 0 for 2 on the night. As Ben Brinkman cuts up ice for Minnesota. He comes to the right-hand side and then dumps it back behind the end boards for Gates, who's on the left-hand boards, and a little tie-up there. Sheehy goes back to Rossini at the blue line. Sheehy crossing in on the circle, goes back into the slot, shot, and it just goes up off the shoulder there of Strauss-Mann. Michigan stood there helpless as Sheehy just walked his way across the circle and into the slot, where he ripped the shot that just missed.
Another phenomenal save by Strauss-Mann. I was watching the play develop, expecting to see that red light go off, but thanks to the stellar play of the freshman from Greenwich, Connecticut, we still have a tie game.
One of the goal scorers for Michigan tonight, Morgan in the faceoff circle now on the right-hand side of Strauss-Mann. He's going up against Novak, who's been good on the faceoffs for Minnesota so far tonight. Gophers win possession coming out of it, battling off a couple of sticks in the corner. It goes to Zielsdorf at the blue line. It goes to Sadek across the way. He dumps it, wraps it around. Going back to Novak, and now Lambert collects for Michigan, and they're pushing up 2-on-2. It goes to Mike Pastujov, bounces off his stick, and goes all the way back to the backboard. Michigan now down in the corner there. Looks like Morgan was looking for a centering pass back behind him and into the slot, but that one was knocked away by a Minnesota stick, and it goes all the way back to Michigan's defensive zone, where it's collected there by Griffin Luce. He hands off to Martin. Martin goes to Lambert at the blue line. Michigan crossing in again. Almost a dump pass that opened up a nice opportunity. And a lazy shot in there by Luce that bounces up off the kick pad of Robson. Now a battle in the corner for the puck. 3 Gophers to a Wolverine. Wolverines manage to kick it back out and can't keep it at the blue line. Ciccone has to drop back. Now Quinn Hughes dropping back. Forechecking pressure coming for the Gophers from Nate Burke. Burke kicks it up to Hughes. Hughes goes across the way, intercepted, and Norris takes a little wrister from the top of the slot, and it's again gathered in to the chest of Robson. 15:46 to go here in the third period. Tie game 2-2. Wolverines have taken the shots advantage 24-19. They're out shooting Minnesota 6-1 here so far in the third period.
Yeah, and great pass from Quinn Hughes to Josh Norris for that opportunity. You always see that top line paired with those top 2 defensemen of Ciccone and Hughes creating the most chance for the Wolverines.
Gophers win the faceoff. They'll start up the left-hand side with the puck as Hughes intercepts it off Pitlick as he crosses into the Michigan zone. And now Hughes wraps all the way around going up the left-hand boards. Tries for a centering pass, bounces off a couple of bodies and finds Ciccone back at the blue line on the right-hand side. Now it's back with Hughes again, who's trying to body his defender. Cuts back to the blue line again, barely keeps it in play, goes back to Slaker. Slaker gives it back to Hughes. Hughes tries to center. Nobody there, bounces up off a body and up and out of play with 15:15 to go here in the third period.
The Wolverines look to be in more control than the Gophers right now, gaining a lot of that offensive dominance they had in the first period back. Let's see if they can maintain that as the period goes on and hopefully net that game-winning goal.
In the circle, it'll be Nick Pastujov going up against Scott Reedy. Reedy wins the face-off. However, Michigan fighting to keep it in play as Becker gains possession, wraps it around behind the net where it's gathered in by Robson. Robson dumps off as Minnesota finally clears it out of their zone. A dump and chase here for the Gophers, giving chase is Reedy to Boca. He hits Boca up in the boards, wraps around Blankenberg, and it's gathered in by Clayton Phillips on the right-hand side. Minnesota tries to center the pass, but from a bad angle, and it goes wide. Rossini, the defenseman, pushing in for the Gophers up on Nick Boca in the corner. As it works its way to the other side of Michigan's zone, now to Blankenberg, who gives it up ice. Now Becker's working on the left-hand side. He dumps off for Nick Pastujov. He rips a shot, and then a rebound chance for Warren. Can't make it, and falling on top of the puck is Matt Robson. Another chance for the Wolverines, and that was a good layoff there by Pastujov to take the shot, and then bounced off by Warren. And with 14:29 remaining here in the third period, Michigan has had the better chances in the period, but still can't break the tie.
Yeah, great chance for Michigan right there, but even better instincts by Matt Robson, not letting the Brendan Warren get his stick on that rebound, quickly going down, gloving that puck so as to stop play.
2-2 your score here. Shot still 25-19 in favor of Michigan. Minnesota held the shots lead for all of about a minute and a half in this game tonight. In the middle of the second period, right after they scored back-to-back goals that put them in the lead, until the equalizer from Morgan towards the end of that period. We've been scoreless through the first 5.5 minutes of this period with 14:29 to play.
After the Gophers' second goal, it really did look like this game had slipped away from Michigan. Looked like they weren't going to get back on their feet, and they proved everyone in this building wrong by tying this game back up and looking like they've gained back their dominance and their momentum.
It'll be a face-off in the Minnesota zone. Should be Norris to take it. And it will be. He's going to go up against Sheehy again. That's been a great battle in the face-off circle so far tonight. I don't have the straight stat in front of me, but it's got to be about 50-50 between Norris and Sheehy. As they will do battle again, and Norris wins this one. He throws it back to the line to Quinn Hughes as it is dumped in, goes bouncing off of somebody and out of play, and we're going to do it all over again. Same circle, same people, 14:25 on the clock.
Something I've noticed in this game, which I feel has been a lot more prevalent than in other hockey games I've watched, is that the referees seem to be getting in the way of the puck more than usual.
Poor placement of the referees, perhaps, but this time Sheehy beats Norris in the circle, so Michigan's going to fight to keep it in play. They do. Sneaky Quinn Hughes coming up, Slaker getting possession. As Michigan with a chance in front, Slaker has it, he just goes wide. Had a wraparound chance in front as he turned 360 and just missed going up over the left shoulder of Matt Robson. Michigan keeps possession, and now a slap shot from the top of the slot. That one missed by Norris. Still keeping possession with Ciccone. Ciccone dumps off right in front. Opportunity for Slaker, misses on the back door. Good opportunities for the Maize and Blue as they still have it in Minnesota's zone, and that time Norris was looking for a back pass to Ciccone, who was out of position from where he was looking. And Michigan will recollect in the neutral zone and carry it back in with Norris. Norris looking across to the slot, can't find it. Bounces up off the boards to Quinn Hughes. Hughes dispossessed. Now a one-on-one opportunity for Minnesota. Just missing there. A great opportunity for Sammy Walker, stonewalled by Strauss-Mann. That's a poor play there from Quinn Hughes to give up the one-on-one opportunity. He got dispossessed, and Walker was walking home free, but he just got beat by Strauss-Mann on that left-hand side.
As good as Quinn Hughes is for the Wolverines, and as good as he is as a hockey player, poor plays by him have led to a lot of great chances for the Gophers. Only one of them has resulted in a goal, but he's really got to step it up in the final minutes of this hockey game.
12:55 to go and ticking as Michigan carries it across the blue line with Garrett Van Wy. Van Wy dumps in, bounces away to the side, kicked off there by Robson. As it wraps around the near side boards back into the neutral zone, Michigan will reset. Puck bouncing around and again back into the neutral zone, and again Michigan will recollect. This time Randall dumps it in. And this time instead of chasing, Michigan will just take the fresh skates and get back on D. A decent forecheck there by Luke Martin has kept it in the Minnesota zone, but only for a moment as they get it back into the neutral zone. Cross ice pass. Targeting from right to left, looking for McManus, one of the goal scorers tonight for Minnesota. But good defense there by Summers. Puck is given away, though, and Novak has an opportunity as he looked like he was going to slap it and then wound up just dumping it right to the left-hand side, but it's knocked away. Sampo Ranta in behind the net. Looking for one of his Gopher buddies, can't find him. It's a tie-up in the corner. And now Nick Pastujov carrying it up the right-hand side, or should I say the left-hand side. Pastujov, he's got Becker open in the slot, can't get the puck away, and now Minnesota's going to have an opportunity. Blankenberg's got to get back, as he will take a chop at it, good poke away, and it'll go back to the backboards of Minnesota, force them to reset, give Michigan a chance to get their feet back underneath them. Blankenberg, as that last line defense has been pretty good tonight for the Wolverines, as he now has it back on Michigan's blue line, giving to Boca, who goes from left to right. He tried to find Morgan up on the blue line, but couldn't get there. Minnesota regains possession, and again, we're battling around back and forth in the neutral zone. Mike Pastujov dumps one in this time as it escapes off the pad of Matt Robson, but he gathers it in and puts a glove to it with a little bit of pressure coming from the Wolverines. That'll stop it and force a face-off in the Minnesota zone with exactly 11 minutes to play here in the third period. It's a 2-2 game here between the number 15 Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Yeah, those past few minutes of action featured a slurry of opportunities to take the lead in this game for the Wolverines. They just could not net any of them. You heard a lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd. Let's see if they could do it here.
Scott Reedy's going up against Josh Norris here on the right circle. And the whistle blows as the puck drops. And thrown out of the circle is Norris, it looks like. And that's going to leave Slaker to take it now. So Norris jumped a little early. This time, Michigan wins it as it goes back to the backboards, but it looks like Minnesota might have possession on the far side. Coming back now around the end boards with Lockwood giving chase for Michigan as that puck squirts all the way back past the blue line, and that one might make it all the way back to Strauss-Mann. No, it's gathered in by Hughes just shy of Mann. Reset with Ciccone now as he pushes through the neutral zone. He's going to dump into the corner, bounced off there, gathered in by Slaker, who wraps it around back the left to right way. Goes back to Ciccone at the blue line, who chips it down low for Slaker. Norris is standing right on the edge of the circle. He goes cross ice. Cross ice back to Norris, couldn't have it. Another good opportunity for Michigan. And again, they'll reset. Quinn Hughes now dumping. The puck is onside there, tapped in by Norris. Norris goes back to Ciccone. Ciccone digging in towards the corner. He gives to Slaker. Slaker fully in the corner. And now a tie-up. It's under a skate. Looks like Minnesota might have it. A couple players lost it there for a moment, but Michigan regains possession as that puck squirts around the slot, but does no harm as it gets back to Michigan's zone where Quinn Hughes takes. Hughes going to try and beat a man with a little stick move, and he almost does, but almost dispossessed, and again, almost giving up a one-on-one opportunity. Again, Quinn Hughes just getting a little fancy there.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes has got to get off the ice. He's been on for a while now, and he will get off now. He needs a break.
As the puck is down deep in the Minnesota zone now. Chipped up from the corner boards, looking for Pitlick in the neutral zone. Michigan, however, giving chase, knocking away a couple different passes there as Minnesota finally breaks across the blue line. Nice poke check there by Mike Pastujov to stop the centering pass from Nani. And now the puck is loose in front, right in front of Strauss-Mann. It bounced up off the backboards and went in front, looking for Sheehy, but Strauss-Mann puts a glove to it. And we'll slow things down here with 9:09 to play in the third period. Still a tied hockey game.
With the quality and the amount of chances that the Wolverines have had in this third period, it's incredible to think that they have not scored yet. And it's getting to that point where if they haven't scored yet, will the Gophers eventually gain the lead first?
But Minnesota had the best scoring chance of them all. That one-on-one opportunity for Walker with good discipline by Mann. Walker tried to fade over to his left side and then cut back to the right, but Strauss-Mann never really bit on that left fake, and he stayed true to his right side, and it did him well.
Yeah, he has looked really confident between the pipes. He has had a lot of composure.
Even after giving up those 2 goals back in the second period.
Well, you've got to flush the ball when you're a goalie. You can't dwell on your mistakes the whole game, because then you're just going to continue to give up goals. and the score's going to get worse, and you're going to get more frustrated. You got to flush the bowl.
I like that. Got to flush the bowl.
That's what my high school baseball coach said. Anytime one of us made an error, hey, flush the bowl.
I like that. 9:09 to go. Third period, 2-2 game. Shots 28-20 in favor of Michigan. Looking for a breakthrough here. Late in game 1 of 2 this weekend against the Golden Gophers here at Yost, trying to come out with a win and ensure at least a split.
And I think it's imperative the Wolverines win this game. Their last win came on November 18th, I believe.
16th, I believe.
16th.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, you're correct, 16th, at
And
Happy
they had
Valley.
2 ties through overtime last weekend against Wisconsin, trying to bust that overtime streak. Would love to get a win in regulation as they win the face-off. They've got the puck pushing up ice. Garrett Van Wy through the neutral zone. Knocked away by a host of sticks, including McLaughlin for Minnesota. Puts it back into the Michigan boards. Summers has the puck for Michigan as he finds the stick of Raby to tap it in. And it'll go all the way back to Robson, who circles it around his corner boards. Brought in there with a good opportunity for Walker, and they've got McLaughlin one-on-one, and he goes high. Great opportunity for Minnesota, missed. That was a nice drop pass there from Walker, who very nearly had a goal earlier and very nearly had an assist on a game-leading goal. Martin has the puck low in the Minnesota zone for Michigan right now, battling along the boards for it as it finally gets away. Now McLaughlin's going to have another chance if he can outskate Griffin Luce. He cannot. Luce gets there into the corner first and gives it away to Nick Pastujov. Pastujov skating up the right-hand side. He leaves for Becker. Becker takes a shot. Almost took a rebound to Pastujov's stick. But instead, Minnesota pushing up with Sampo Ranta. Ranta takes a shot that goes across the far side of Strauss-Mann. Bounces, I think they're going to say it went out of play. With 7:49 to go here in the third period.
And yeah, you see the Wolverines, they're right there. They cannot bury the puck to save their lives right now. And you'd like to think it's going to happen for them.
As they keep getting those dumps, it just feels like it's getting closer and closer.
But it also feels like if not now, when, to some extent.
Morgan facing off against Novak. Novak has shown the exit from the circle as he jumped way early there, and that'll bring McManus in to face him. And Morgan wins it that time as he sends it over to the boards for Ciccone, and now a tie up in the corner off the face-off. Wolverines get it out of there pretty quickly. Pastujov passes up, cross bounce pass off the boards for Lambert. Lambert to Hughes, an opportunity in front for Morgan, and it couldn't hit his stick. Again, another close chance for the Wolverines. And again, Morgan busting in from the left-hand side. He might go all the way around. He finds an open chance in front for Lambert, and it's knocked away before it can get into the crease. Now Sampo Ranta moving up center ice. He makes a nice stick move, but Hughes intercepts it, and now it's a chance for Michigan to come offensively. Hughes skates forward, drops back. He was looking for a blue line dump off, but there was no defenseman there because he's the defenseman. Lockwood looking for a backhand in towards net. He does get it on target, but a soft one that's gathered in there by Robson to stop the clock at 7:01 here in the third period, with 30 shots for the Wolverines and 20 for the Golden Gophers, and still, again, a tie hockey game.
I cannot even count the amount of chances Quinn Hughes has created for the Wolverines. It seems like every time he's on the ice, he's throwing the puck towards the net, and you hear the oohs and ahs from the crowd from how close they've been to scoring when he passes the puck.
Another Norris-Sheehy battle, and again, this one's won by Norris. Gets it back to the blue line, which is then dumped into the corner. Lockwood is down there, Slaker is down there, but again, Sheehy finds it and then gets it to his men to clear it away. Strauss-Mann will gather it, wrap it around his boards, again coming out of net. Blankenberg back there for the Wolverines as he chops it along the back of the net. Norris hits it up to Slaker. Slaker's got an opportunity coming on the right-hand side. He tried to go up right corner. Couldn't put it top shelf. It went high and wide, bounced away. Michigan still has possession, looking for that cross pass for Lockwood back into the slot. Strauss-Mann will hold it to keep the icing away, and he just held it there for an extra beat. Makes you a little nervous, but he gives it away to Blankenberg. Blankenberg gives to Boca. Boca goes up to Norris in the neutral zone, who cuts right side. Back pass going towards the blue line, finds Luke Martin. Martin cuts in and then tries to find the redirect to Lockwood. Minnesota recovers, though. Moving up ice on the right-hand side. This time it's Ramsey. Ramsey trying to dump to the corner, but it's collected by Luke Martin. And now an opportunity for the Wolverines. Josh Norris coming up the left side. He cuts back across the middle. Now he's going to turn around looking for Martin and couldn't quite complete the spinner pass there to find him in the slot. And again, Minnesota will regain possession and shuck it down. Michigan will again reset. Minnesota hasn't really held the puck very much here. They've just continued to beat Michigan's advances. Randall's got it. Raby over towards the middle. Puck knocked away to the corner by Rossini on defense for the Golden Gophers. Quinn Hughes now has it. He's back on the ice after a short rest, and he's going to go right up the middle, try and bounce it off the boards for himself. As he's wrapping around, there could have been a penalty called as he was holding Rossini there trying to get around him, but nothing doing.
They're letting the boys play.
Again. As Van Wy is giving chase on the forecheck along with Raby here as it's back in the corner for Minnesota. And a good job there by Van Wy as he's got him tied up 2-1, but eventually Minnesota wins it back. As McLaughlin now has it moving up the right-hand side, looking for a couple bodies in the middle. He's got one. It's Reedy. Reedy takes a shot going to the left-hand side, goes off the toe pad of Strauss-Mann, and another opportunity to regather in front is knocked away by a few Wolverine sticks. And now Brendan Warren cutting up the left-hand side. He makes a throw-in off the boards. It goes wide. Ciccone now has it in the corner. Ciccone looked for that pass back to the slot. Nobody was there. Now Boca's going to wrap all the way around. Back towards the corner, but he's cut off by some Gophers, who will take that puck right back and move up the left-hand side on their own. Walker dumping, looking for McLaughlin on the right-hand side. Can't quite get there, and now again, Michigan's got an opportunity. Nice knockdown by Brendan Warren to get it to Becker. Becker's one-on-one. Becker throws it high. He had a couple skaters coming in behind him on the one-on-one opportunity, and he felt the footsteps and bounced it up off the backboards. Meanwhile, Burke takes it up for Minnesota, lugs it in with enough time to get a couple switches on the defensive line. As now Burke has it moving up the left-hand side for Minnesota again in Michigan zone. He goes back to Brinkman at the blue line, who goes back to the corner for Sheehy. Back to Brinkman. Brinkman looking for Sheehy again. Can't find him. And now Morgan and Lambert trying to get possession back for Michigan. They do. As a couple bodies go flying back near the Michigan blue line, Michigan is going to dump the puck and change. The only chase provided by Morgan. Morgan almost knocked down the clear pass, but instead it's brought in by Summers back in the neutral zone, and now Morgan will get a chance to get off the ice. Norris back in for him, as Michigan will knock a Minnesota pass away through the neutral zone, but it bounces up off the boards and it's recollected, and now Sheehy coming in. He tried to put in an odd angle shot, but it was blocked away by Summers. Pitlick is in the left corner for Minnesota. Pitlick goes back to Gates in the slot, but it bounced off his stick and he couldn't handle it cleanly. Now Michigan's got it back with Slaker in the neutral zone, and a bad pass gives it right back to Nani, who dumps and allows a Minnesota change.
With time ticking down in this game, only 2:40 left in regulation, you're wondering if the Wolverines are going to go to overtime for their 5th straight game, I believe.
2:32 and ticking. Norris threw a shot towards goal, but it went wide. Bounced back around. And now Novak moving forward. He's got Sampo Renta. That one goes wide around the goal, and then it's off the stick of Ciccone and right into the glove of Strauss-Mann. Again, tense moments there for the Wolverines as Sampo Renta had a good chance coming across the blue line, but his shot went wide. Held in by Mann with 2:16 to go here in the third period. Tie hockey game 31-23, shots in favor of Michigan. You're listening to Michigan hockey coverage on WCBN Sports and the Michigan Student Hockey Radio Network. Boy, my voice is not getting a chance to rest with these guys tonight.
Nope, they are giving us non-stop action. They are really just they're putting it all, leaving it on the ice tonight. Neither team is giving up anything at all. And I think this would be a big statement win for Michigan if they could win this one in regulation, because they really have not been able to do that in almost a month.
Classic for the Michigan Jumbotron. They play the Caddyshack, the Bill Murray, going gopher hunting. He's loading up his shotgun. Michigan has loaded up the shotgun several times here in the third period, and they fired, but they just keep missing. Trying to put these Gophers down.
Did Bill Murray ever get the gopher?
If that answer is how we base this hockey game, it wouldn't go well. 2-2 with 2:16 to play. We're going to have a face-off in the Michigan zone. It's going to be to the right of Strauss-Mann. It's going to be Garrett Van Wy going up against Tommy Novak. As the puck drops, and a bit of a scrum for it right in the circle. We'll see who comes away with it. Michigan able to clear it back past the blue line. Minnesota will retreat. The big Finn Sempo Ranta gets it back in the Minnesota zone as he tries to reset, but a good poke check away by Dakota Raby as he finds Garrett Van Wy, who throws in a shot towards Robson and forces him to hold as he dives towards the goal. Hit there by the defenseman Zulsdorf as well. And with 1:56 remaining, now we'll have a face-off in the Minnesota zone. Quite a hockey game here tonight. It looks destined for overtime at the moment, but there's 1:56 to play.
Yeah, there's a lot of time left in this hockey game. One of these teams could definitely take the lead before that buzzer sounds.
Nick Pastujov against Sheehy in the circle. Sheehy wins as he gets it back to the corner where it's cleared all the way down to the Michigan corner where Quinn Hughes tracks back to get it. And now he shows that speed up ice. He's just ripping by defenders as he goes left, throws a shot on and thrown away by the paddle there for Robson. Michigan still has it in the zone though, and another shot thrown on there by Nick Pastujov that goes wide, and I think it was kicked up and out of play. Stoppage with 1:33 to go.
Quinn Hughes, I mean, he's unbelievable. You forget he's even a defenseman most of the time for how offensively talented he is. He got goal line to goal line, no issue. Nobody touched him. And he almost scored too. You forget how good he is on the defensive side a lot of the times.
And we are going to have a timeout called here. I believe Minnesota, the one that called timeout. Indeed it is, so it'll be 1 minute here on the break. I'm going to take a second to rest. Charlie, you give a little bit here on some thoughts.
Well, like we've said all night, this has been a fantastic hockey game. If I'm a fan, I am watching this game, but if I'm a hockey fan, I'm enjoying this. There's been just so many oohs and ahs from the crowd as you see both teams have gotten so close and just can't bury that goal to break the tie. It's looking like we will go to overtime at this point. Still a lot of time left in this hockey game, but the Wolverines are leading the shots 34-23, difference of 11, but they just can't seem to put it in the back of the net. Quinn Hughes has created phenomenal chances for them, although some errant play on the defensive side has created great chances for the Gophers. So with 1:33 left to go in this contest, let's see if one of these teams can end it before we go to extra time of hockey.
It's going to be a face-off in the circle to the right of Matt Robson. Robson has done well tonight. He's only let 2 by him on 34 shots, the junior out of Mississauga. It's going to be Norris and Sheehy, a great battle in the circle all night long. And for the 3rd time in a row, Norris beats him. It goes back to Blankenberg at the point, who takes a shot in, bounces around a little bit, makes its way back to Boca on the right side up top. Slaker's got it in the corner. Now tied up in there along with Sadek, as it'll get bounced off the boards, passing for Slaker. Slaker moving all the way across the ice from right to left as he dumps it in towards the backboards. A big hit leveled by Michigan back behind the net. No penalty coming off of that one, but a big hit again as Slaker knocks the pass down at the blue line, throws in a shot, and it just went off the kick pad from a distance there. Boy, of all the goals to let in, that one would have been probably the worst, but Michigan, again, still can't find the net as Will Lockwood comes in the right side, throws in a pass towards net, goes wide to the left, bounces into the corner. Michigan gathers with 42 seconds to go. Norris pushing up ice, trying to cross the blue line. McLaughlin giving chase there on the right-hand side. It wraps all the way around the boards to the left-hand side where they've got Walker back there to dump it off. And now Ben Brinkman will take it up for Minnesota. Now McLaughlin crosses the blue line. Back to Novak. Novak tries to throw on an odd angle shot that goes up over the net. 16 seconds to play. Tracking back there are the Golden Gophers back behind their net. 10 seconds to go, maybe time for one last push as they throw it up. Knocked down, McLaughlin has possession, back to Novak. Novak keeps it in, throws it wide around, 2 seconds, 1 second. Pass is throwing around everywhere, and the buzzer will sound. We are destined for extra hockey.
Who doesn't love a little extra hockey, right?
After 60 minutes of play, your score, Michigan 2, Minnesota 2. We are headed to overtime. Michigan, yet another overtime game. Again, this is their 4th overtime game in a row. Last time they didn't have overtime was their last win, which was at Penn State on November 16th. They lost in overtime the following night to the Nittany Lions, and then they had 2 overtime ties to Wisconsin last week.
Before an overtime loss to Michigan State.
Yes.
2 weeks ago was Wisconsin, no?
Yeah, maybe that's why we've been a little off on the stats tonight. I don't think they've updated the stat sheet on their website. You're right, yep. Those Michigan State games as well. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense now why earlier we were different on the assist numbers as well. I think they just haven't updated the online stat sheet on the website, which is where I normally go to pull it so I don't have to use the paper.
Well, for all you listening at home, we apologize for the for the confusion.
The stat differentials. Minnesota stats have been correct. Those are up to date. So we're gonna buy whatever Charlie's got on his sheet here. And we've got 5 minutes of overtime coming our way. I was arguing with Evan Osterly, my roommate and executive director of WCBN Sports, 2 nights ago when the Red Wings went overtime with the Maple Leafs. And I said that 3-on-3 overtime hockey is the best time in any sport. And he argued that basketball was better. And I about vomited.
Regular basketball overtime?
Yeah.
No shot.
Yeah.
3-on-3 hockey is incredibly exciting.
Well, that's the whole thing is he was
one misstep and it's a goal for the other team.
He's not a hockey guy, and like every time they're coming up the ice, he's like, "Oh my God, they had a chance!" And I'm like, "Well, that's the point of 3-on-3 hockey. Everybody has a chance every time they come up the ice."
And that's why the change in formatting of the All-Star game, changing it to divisional teams 3-on-3, has been wildly exciting.
All right, but we're going 5-on-5 here. We've got 5 minutes to go. We've got a send out on the opening faceoff as they're going to send Nick Pastujov away. Or Brendan Warren, I should say, and I think that'll leave Becker to take the faceoff against Novak, and it will, as Gophers win the faceoff. 5 minutes to go here in overtime. And Sampo Ranta just threw Nick Pastujov down, and again, literally the linesman right on top of it waves it away. Something going on here with the Stripes tonight. Michigan, though, has it deep in their own zone with Joe Ciccone. Ciccone throws back to Quinn Hughes. They're still behind their own net. I don't think we're going to see a delayed penalty, but it looks like the Children of Yost have the penalty call ready to go. I didn't see the hand go up.
There's no hand up, so I don't know what this call would be for.
Yeah,
and Gophers have touched the puck as well, so
yeah,
that's not the case.
I don't know why they were starting the penalty chant, maybe just out of sarcasm, but no penalty coming. 4:15 to go here in overtime as Mike Pastujov has it atop the blue line. He dumps one in, but Minnesota quick to gather as it went wide around the net. They'll throw back behind Strauss-Mann where it's gathered by Luke Martin. Martin trying to clear it, but can't get it away as now Summers finally gets it away back past the blue line, but it's gathered in just beyond the blue line there by Nani and thrown back in. Michigan has it, goes for the cross-ice pass. They find Mike Pastujov. Pastujov was looking for Lambert, just got a bit out in front of him as that puck goes a little too far. Summers now has it back deep in the Michigan zone as he throws it up. And now Michigan looking for a full length of the ice pass towards Lambert. Lambert's got it down in the corner. He's looking for somebody to pass it to. Give him a little help here. He's tied up in the corner. And instead it's gathered in there by Brent Gates as he knocks it up ice. Now Minnesota's got a chance coming around. They've got a one-on-one opportunity in front, and Strauss-Mann makes the save.
As you hear everyone in Yost cheering for Strauss-Mann, as that was a phenomenal save, point-blank shot at the net, and he absolutely snatched it out of thin air.
Very nearly a chance as Pitlick just kind of swerved his way right across the crease in front of net. And again, Strauss-Mann doing a great job to stay disciplined, keeps his body position with the puck and not the stick. And he makes the save with 3:14 to go here as well. Have a face-off to his left-hand side.
And Strauss-Mann has undoubtedly kept the Wolverines in this game. This probably would have ended in regulation as a Minnesota win, if not for his presence between the pipes.
A couple of fantastic saves tonight, along with a handful of really good ones.
The same could be said for the Gophers as well. Matt Rabson has saved some absolutely phenomenal chances for the Wolverines.
Norris beats Walker in the face-off circle. However, the Gophers have possession of the puck back behind the net as it dribbles around. They go back to the blue line, send it back to the backboards where it bounces around. It goes from the left side to the right. Norris is holding up his Gopher in the corner. Goes to Blankenberg. Blankenberg gets it over to Lockwood, who can't keep it on his stick. As Minnesota dumps and chases, Blankenberg collects back deep for Michigan. Falling down on his skates is Lockwood, as Blankenberg tries to get it to him. Instead, Lockwood just throws it in. And again, we have a change in possession. 2:37 to go. We're halfway here, about through overtime. That's a shot thrown in there by McLaughlin. Pretty lazy, but it got Strauss-Mann up out of his crouch, and it bounced up off his chest. As Michigan regains possession, it'll go down as a shot on goal there for Minnesota. 2:20 to go in overtime. Minnesota recollects in their own zone, and they push towards the blue line with McManus. And now Sampo Ranta giving chase into the corner. Ranta working with Boca. Michigan gets the puck. Norris intercepts right at the center circle. Norris going to the right-hand side. He works his way around his man. Dakota Raby went for the backhand odd-angle shot. That one went off the side of the goal, and Minnesota recollects. 2 minutes to go. Puck goes all the way back behind Strauss-Mann where Ciccone gathers. Ciccone gives it to Quinn Hughes. Hughes goes up to Raby. Dakota Raby, can he make a man miss? He can. He gives it to Van Wy on the dump off. Van Wy goes off the side of the net with the dump pass. He goes back to Hughes at the blue line. Hughes tries to throw it in. It goes off McManus. Blocked up. Where's the penalty there? That's a neck rip delayed penalty coming against Minnesota, and they will get it.
And there's finally a blatant penalty called in favor of the Wolverines. The linesman had been right in front of all these plays and had never called one.
Tyler Nannini arguing his case, but there's no doubt he had his mitt wrapped all the way around the neck there, down in the corner. And he's going to go to the box for the rest of the overtime. Michigan will finish overtime on the man advantage.
And this is a fantastic opportunity to grab this win right now. They have been knocking on the doorstep all third period, could not finish it off. Now they're a man up for the rest of the overtime period. It would be really a shame if it went to a shootout here.
Well, Michigan will have a chance on the man advantage for the rest of overtime with Nannini in the box for a hold. He wrapped Dakota Raby around the neck in the corner, and for once, Michigan got a call tonight. Michigan did call timeout, so it's going to be 60 seconds here.
So you got to think that they're definitely going to go with Ciccone, Hughes, Slaker, Norris, and Lockwood. They're top producing players. I mean, with only a minute 35 left in the game, it's not that much for them to stay out there for the rest of it. And it's imperative that they get these points.
You'll assume Michigan will leave the top line guys out there, getting a little break right now. So you'd think it'd be the SNL line along with Ciccone and Hughes out there. Should be. Timeout is about to draw to a close.
Don't want us to go to a shootout. You got to admit, with the way these two goalies are playing tonight, a shootout would be quite entertaining.
1:35 to go. Michigan will have an extra man for the rest of the overtime period. It's a 2-2 hockey game here at Yost on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan men's hockey and the Michigan Student Hockey Radio Network. Jeremy Parks alongside Charlie Goodwin. All right, be still my weary heart. Let's do this. 1:35.
Let's do that hockey.
Again, it'll be Norris and Sheehy to the right of Robson. Referees holding them out of the circle, and Norris wins. Crucial win in the face-off circle as Ciccone gets it at the blue line. He dumps in, almost got the redirect for Lockwood, but it went wide. Lockwood with a trip, and just like that, Michigan throws away their man advantage. Lockwood's going to head to the box on a stupid trip in the corner.
That's an absolutely immature play by Will Lockwood. You get that phenomenal opportunity to ice the game right here, and you take a dumb penalty like that.
He got his stick wrapped inside on the hip. Trying to tell who that was down in low. I think it was Ryan Zulsdorf down in the corner for Minnesota, and that's going to mean that we'll finish in 4-on-4 hockey. So we were talking about 3-on-3. How about we do a little 4-on-4? Should open up play a little bit more.
Yeah, a lot of open ice, especially with these teams trying to score a lot. This could be interesting.
Pitlick beats Norris. Quick shot there from Zielsdorf. Bounces up off of Strauss-Mann. Good save. Michigan has it with Ciccone behind the net. Ciccone gives it to Slaker, who goes right back to Ciccone. Michigan still in their own zone. Ciccone wrapping, weaving. He dumps back. Moving around and dumping finally for Slaker as Slaker's coming up the left-hand side. Slaker still on the left-hand side. Bounces up off the boards. Getting bodied there by Sadek. Zielsdorf has it in the back. He gives it to Pitlick on the left side. As Pitlick crosses the Michigan blue line, he heads to the left side, trying to beat Quinn Hughes. He wraps all the way around. Looking for a chance, doesn't find one, so he dumps it back to the blue line. Blue line takes a shot towards goal, knocked away by Ciccone. 37 seconds to go here in overtime. Hughes gives to Norris. Norris dispossessed in the neutral zone, but Slaker wins it right back. Opportunity for Michigan. They dump back, and he hit it behind Norris. Hughes has it, wants to break in, but he can't because Slaker's offsides. 20 seconds to go. Hughes takes a dip, comes across the blue line, leaves for Slaker, right-hand side. Tried to leave for Hughes, wrapped around by Pitlick. Pitlick holding Slaker on the ground, no call. 9 seconds to go. One more chance for Minnesota. Pitlick crossing the right circle. Pitlick shot in the zone, blocked away. 2 seconds, one. Knocked away again by Michigan, and that'll do it. It's going to be a tie. Tie game here, 2-2 between the number 15 Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. See if I believe we still have the extracurricular penalty shootout coming up.
I think that's going to be a really, really exciting shootout to watch. Both Matt Rapson and, of course, Strauss-Mann have been phenomenal between the pipes tonight. Not the most ideal way to end it for a team that really needed to grab a win, but again, exciting hockey nonetheless.
Actually, I'm mistaken because I haven't done a game here at home yet that we've been tied in conference play. So this is part of the new changes for this season with the Big Ten. Since it's a tie after the 5-on-5 period, we're actually going to go to a 3-on-3 overtime period, just like we talked about.
I like that. I didn't know that change either. That's that's a cool rule.
So it's 5 minutes, sudden death here, 3-on-3 again now, and then the shootout will come afterwards if it's still tied after 5 minutes of 3-on-3, and that will determine who gets the extra point here.
Here's a question. Not necessarily one you're going to be able to answer, but if you're going to do the 3-on-3 overtime period, why not just make that the overtime period?
Because the 5-on-5 precedes it. I don't imagine that many games this season have ended in 5-on-5. So we are going to see 3-on-3 hockey here. Morgan, along with Raby and Boca, start for Michigan. They win the faceoff, and Raby's pushing up ice. He's on Sadek. Sadek takes it across the Minnesota blue line, circles back around, looks for a pass to bounce up off the boards. He does find Walker. Walker working his way across the front. Paddled away there by Strauss-Mann. Minnesota still possessing it in front there. Minnesota's got it on the right-hand side, still working around. Going to the left side, Walker's got it, covered by Boca. Michigan pokes it away. Minnesota getting back on defense. They've got their man back. Now it's 4-4 for a minute. And now Michigan's got Lockwood back. 4 men on the ice for both sides now, as they both get a couple of changes. Zielsdorf has it for Minnesota as he then passes up ice going across the way. There is Nani. Nani back into the backboards on Blankenberg. Up to Lockwood. Lockwood moving up the right-hand side, cut off.
No
Minnesota.
opportunity for either team really yet in this period.
Trying to open something up. Reedy has it for Minnesota in the center circle. Reedy cutting across, straight ahead. Boca working on him with the stick. He goes back to Phillips at the point. That shot, take a deflection and just goes wide to the right. As now Lockwood has it, dumps it up softly for Warren. Now Warren's got a little room to work as he's going to throw it up off the boards and into the Minnesota zone. They'll get a couple of fresh legs there for the maize and blue. Minnesota making a couple changes as well, as Minnesota will hold the puck while they get on the ice back in their own zone. Now Pitlick has it. Now Pitlick skating up ice real fast. Blocked away by Ciccone on his attempted dump in on Strauss-Mann. And now Nick Pastujov has it coming up the right side for Michigan to Lambert. Lambert wanted to leave it for Ciccone. Miscommunication. And Minnesota's going to get the puck back. Again, Michigan trying to do maybe a little too much. They keep thinking about leaving it for teammates that just aren't ready for it. As Minnesota comes forward, she takes a shot right on the center of goal. Strauss-Mann pads it away. Nick Pastujov's got it. 2:47 remaining here in the overtime period. Lambert coming up the left-hand side. Lambert looking for Pastujov. Lambert coming around. Lambert shot up off of Robson. Another collection by Pastujov goes off Robson. Nobody knows where the puck is. It's behind the net. And now coming back up the left-hand side are the Golden Gophers. A big chance for Michigan there goes begging. McLaughlin moving it up the left-hand side. Ranta goes at it back on the backboards. Ranta comes back, going back towards the blue line. Leaves it for Nani. Nani dumps it in off the boards, looking for McLaughlin behind the net. Hughes beats him out. Now Quinn Hughes, pressured by McLaughlin, but Hughes has the speed. He gets around, comes to the right boards, now leaves it for Boker. Slaker cross ice for Norris. They're onside as they cross the blue line. Norris is wide to the right. Might have gotten a piece of Robson there, couldn't quite tell. Norris has it back on top. Norris takes a slap shot from the circle, and it is collected by Robson.
Those were two phenomenal chances right there for the Wolverines. The insane through the legs move by Jimmy Lambert that almost resulted in a goal. And then, of course, another phenomenal pass, Quinn Hughes to Josh Norris, but it just could not find the back of the net, which has been the story all night for the Wolverines.
Cannot break through the wall. It's 2-2 with 1:54 to play. Slaker's going to come off the ice. Norris is going to come off the ice. Ciccone heads on. Wholesale change for the Wolverines is going to leave. We're back to 3-on-3 after the box is cleared, so it looks like Lockwood, Ciccone, and Raby. As Lockwood is going up against Novak. Puck drops. Novak wins it. Goes back to Zulsdorf, who holds it behind his net, trying to set it up. As they'll work the left side here with Walker. Walker trying to outskate Raby. He gets a little move, trying to wrap back around in a shot. Stop made there by Strauss-Mann on the wraparound. A couple of bodies go tumbling in the boards. It's Raby and Walker. They're back on their feet now as Minnesota recollects in the neutral zone. Novak has it. Beautiful pass to Walker. Just couldn't hit his stick. If he had it, it was one-on-one. Michigan caught asleep there defensively as Walker nearly split him. Meanwhile, Ciccone retakes the puck for the Wolverines. He's got it to Raby. Raby drops back. Raby dumps for Ciccone. Back to Raby at the blue line. Working his way around. He goes back to Lockwood, who's on the left-hand side. Lockwood skating around the circle. Lockwood going towards the slot. Tried to get a stick for a shot. Couldn't do so. Taken away by Gates. And now Gates has an opportunity. Lockwood's got to get back on the back check. Big hit levied there. And that is a great hit by Will Lockwood to get Gates out of the play. Now cross-ice pass to Slaker. Slaker coming up the left-hand side. Shot off the mask. Left there for Norris. Can't get his stick. 44 seconds to go. Hockey is just insane right now. 40 seconds to go. Now moving inside is Pitt. Oh boy, another shot over on the left-hand side. Going to the right corner. Collected in there by Slaker. Slaker pushing up ice for the Wolverines. He's got a chance. Slaker looking for Norris. Can't find the stick. 26 seconds to go. Minnesota's got the puck. They cross the blue line of Michigan. 2-on-1. Pass knocked away as they were looking for Nani. Now Hughes hands it up to Norris. Norris, 1-on-1. Can he do it? Norris, shot! Score!
And what an ending to a phenomenal game. You had shots back and forth throughout that whole second overtime period. No one could get it no matter how open the net was. And then Quinn Hughes, the pass to a wide open Josh Norris, who had a one-on-one with the Minnesota goalie, Matt Robson, and just absolutely buried it in the back of the net, giving the Wolverines their first win in a while.
With 12.1 to go, the Wolverines finally break through the wall and put it away. Josh Norris had so many chances all night, and he finally got the one-on-one to beat Matt Robson, and Michigan walks away with all the points in a 3-2 win.
What a game.
Shots finish at 42-29 in favor of the Maize and Blue. Wow, I'm just out of breath right now.
Yeah, they really did not give you a break.
Especially right at the end
in
there.
those last couple minutes.
Boy, oh boy.
You were constantly just changing up you had to constantly change up what was happening back and forth.
Fantastic finish here at Yost. Michigan and Minnesota pitted in a fantastic battle, and with 12.1 left before the shootout, Michigan puts it away on a one-on-one between Norris and Robson. Wow, as the Wolverines will go through the handshake line. Can't believe these two teams are going to do this again tomorrow night.
That should be a fun one. That definitely is going to be an exciting hockey game, as this one was tonight.
That's going to be a great game. We're going to have that one for you on WCBN Sports as well. It'll be Alex Drain and Lucas Vargas on the call tomorrow night. It's been a pleasure bringing you this one. This is the most fun I've had doing a hockey game in a good while. Your final score here from Yost, the Michigan Wolverines 3, Minnesota 2 in double overtime. For Charlie Goodwin, I'm Jeremy Parks. This has been Michigan Hockey on WCBN Sports and the Michigan Student Hockey Radio Network. As always, we're going to leave you with a good night, a go blue. What a game here at Yost.